Do-it-yourselfer, you get a lot of free advice. But you fix your car in spite of it. We'd like to advise you where to get the part.
And crosses the 40-yard line and gets out to the 42. So lightning click Willard Harrell takes the opening kickoff back and gives the Cardinals very good field position to start the game. The St. Louis Cardinals on offense. That is the revamped interior line. As Braheni's at center and Banks moves to guard, there's the pass catcher. Easton Remsen, the regular tight end, is out. He's not well today. And there's the backfield. Morris and Otis start as the setbacks behind. Steve Pazarkowitz, young man from LaCour High School in St. Louis. First back through is Jim Otis, who started for the first time last week against Dallas. The Cardinal fans will recall, and rushed for 88 yards. There's the Jet defense. They play the 3-4. Pillars, Salam, and Klecko. The up front men, they're tough. This is the best part of their defense, the linebackers, Buttle, Hennessy, Hennigan, and Martin. Secondary's been suspect, but improving. The deep backs are good, Suggs and Owens. And a lot of times they'll play with 6 defensive backs against a long pass. Long yardage plays. On 2nd and 6, the Cardinals run the ball, and Wayne Morris takes it across midfield and down very close to a first down. Nick?
Yeah, does it ever fail, Sonny, when they come into a ball game, they're supposed to be reeled down, having all kinds of problems with the offensive line, and all they're doing right now is blowing the Jets off the ball.
Coming straight at him, and you saw that, just a direct handoff. Tell you, you can look for Steve Pazarkowitz to get a lot of help today from his football team, because they want to pick up the slack, overcome this adversity they've had.
On first down, the Cardinals run the ball right up the gut again. Driving it inside the Jet 40-yard line is Jim Otis. He was knocked down on the play by the secondary of the Jets, as again the Cardinals rip it right up.
Yeah, talking to Pete Elliott, the assistant backfield coach for the Cardinals, he said that Jim Otis has to carry it about 20 to 25 times today, Sonny, if they're going to establish a running game. Otis has a sore ankle, but didn't look that bad there.
It certainly did not. Second down and 2 to go for the first down for the Cardinals. Otis on a reverse. Here comes Pat Tilley. He's got room to run. He's inside the 30, and he's got a foot race ahead of him. Inside the 10, a driving tackle from Buttle from behind knocks Pat Tilley another 5 yards down, and he's inside the 10, and a Jet is down on the play.
Oh, what a good play call that was, to come back with a reverse right off the bat against a 34 defense. Nick, the strength of this defense is pursuit, and running back against it after they let him pursue a little bit, he finds a lot of good blocking over there. Wortman out in front of him. You see Gray down doing a little block down here at the end of the thing. He's
Gray's
chicken fighting a little bit, and they pick up a big first down, a big play for the Cardinals.
You know, as a middle linebacker, never would have guessed that they would have come in a reverse on a second down and 2, so that has to be a super call by Wilkinson from the sideline. And just a point that he will be calling all the plays because Pisarkowitz hasn't had any playing time for the Cardinals, none at all. Really threw one pass last week, and what happened? Interception.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the New York Jets and the National Football League is prohibited. The Cardinals, as you see, second best in their last 11 games. But right now they are driving, and Otis goes in for a touchdown. Jim Otis right up the middle, and that revamped offensive line, Nick Sonny, is just blasting the Jets wide open.
Well, you know, they never said that the offensive line of the Cardinals wasn't a good offensive line. All they said that it was kind of injury prone. But here you see a great hole. Look at that block by Deerdorf. Just wiped out the linebacker. Super run by Otis with a bad ankle.
Steve also got a good block that time. Terry Steve made a good.
Here is Jim Bakken trying to point after with Worley holding. It is up and good. And so the Cardinals, an underdog coming in, jump out to early lead 7-0. As if they've looked any more impressive on any drive this season than they did in the last one, it must have been a spectacular one because they were an impressive football team to open this game.
What is that, 8 yards? 8 yards, Don?
It must have been about that, 7 or 8.
I must want to move in a little bit. Can you see these things?
I'm fine.
Can you see
Sit
that?
back in shape. I like it.
Yeah, but can you see the monitor? Make a comment. This Sarkis, this is where he can hand the football off.
That's how the Cardinals did it. 60 yards in 5 plays. Didn't take long. And now Little kicks off. Back deep is Bruce Harper at the goal line for the Jets. He's got some room to get across the 20. Puts his head down. A hard hit put on by the St. Louis Cardinals. Coming down to make the hit play for St. Louis was Lee Nelson. And the Jets go on offense 1st and 10. And here's how they break down. There's the interior line. Chris Ward, the left tackle, excellent player. Roman starts at the right tackle for one of their better linemen. Marvin Powell, who's out. Rasmussen, who played on the Super Bowl winning team here, at the guard. Pass catchers are dangerous. Deep speed in Walker and the tight end Barkham, and Derek Gaffney, one of the wide receivers, is very elusive. He gets open. They go right to the run. They go right to their money back. Kevin Long, and he gets ahead for 5 yards. Gets it out close to the 29. There's a kid that's got over 500 yards for the season. Eric Williams and Doug Green were on the stop. The Cardinals playing the 3 down linemen, Bob Pollard, Mike Dawson, and John Zook. The linebackers for St. Louis, Steve Niels, Eric Williams, and Kurt Allerman, who've been playing very well. They got their first start last week against Dallas. Mark Arneson on the outside. Allen and Worley the corners. Ken Green and Ken Stone the deep backs for St. Louis. 2nd and 5 Jets. Cardinals lead 7-0. Jets come right back to a power back out of Purdue. Scott Durking, and he drives out to the 37 for a first down.
Whatever happened to the forward pass? The Cardinals take the ball and drive the length of the field without putting it up. And this might be the best running team. They've averaged over 200 yards the last 2 weeks. And the Cardinals have had trouble with the run. They're giving up 192 yards a game.
Well, the Jets had trouble containing the run the first time St. Louis has the ball. Now the Jets go right back, and Durking runs straight ahead, and a good knockdown by Dawson, the middle guard.
Carried by number 25.
Mike Dawson comes across.
You were talking to Walt Michaels before the game, Sonny. I like the question you asked him. You said, you think they're in for a letdown, your team. What did he say to you?
He said they better not be. I'm going to kick a lot of fannies.
Jets haven't been favored very often. In fact, the one game they were was against Seattle here at Shea, and they lost. Got a lot of upsets to their credit, though. Robinson looks deep. Over the middle. The ball is tipped away. Nicely done. Eric Williams, linebacker out of Southern California, who held Tony Dorsett to 24 yards. The Cardinal defense did, but Williams was keying on him on every play. He tipped the ball. It was intended for Gaffney.
He was a little late throwing that football then. He's trying to get it to Gaffney, but he took a long time in picking him out. He wanted to go long to Walker, and that hurt him.
I thought Walker was open. I think he just read the wrong receiver. It looked like he was deep.
They say Walker doesn't even put on a head fake sometimes. He just takes off like an Olympic sprinter and runs.
4.3 speed.
Consistently 4.3. 3rd and 8. Robinson sets up, and the Cardinals put the heat on him. He eludes it. He doesn't get there. The Cardinals knock him down. Eric Williams comes back from pass coverage to fill and make the hit. Jets will punt.
This is something, a strange position for Matt Robinson, being behind. They've usually taken the opening kickoff, driven down, dominated the game from the beginning with their running, and now he's having to scramble a little bit. And he kind of had the ball a little loose there, didn't he, Nick? You look for that as a linebacker?
Yeah, Eric Williams, the linebacker, is the first time he's played, Sonny. He's been hurt all year. I love to see that ball out there where he can really knock it loose and get your team a break.
Willard Harrell is the return man back deep for the Cardinals as Chuck Ramsey punts for the Jets, hits it line drive. And Harrell returned this one from the 17, 20, 25, 30, 40. Boy, he's been murdered today. Willard Harrell, who has one speed, flat out, takes it back to the 45-yard line of the Jets, and just as he did on the opening kickoff, he gives the Cardinals good field position to go on offense. So the St. Louis Cardinals, winless this season but leading 7-0, have good field position at the Jet 45 to go on offense. 1st and 10 when we return. It's good. It's okay. It's okay, Chuck.
I tell you something. What that will do for that kid's confidence to be up 7-0.
All he has to do is hand the football off.
Yeah.
No, we got to talk. We really should talk about our conversation on the field with Michaels, and also the fact that we were talking about. We were talking to Richard Todd. Told Todd all it would take is if a guy intercepts a pass or gets a good run back, but gets them a good field position. Hell, if they can hope to turn around.
Well, when we mentioned that they were going to take up a lot of slack, and that's what Bud Wilkinson told me. He said, test the character of the football team under conditions like this, overcoming the adversity.
Boy, they look awfully sharp, don't they, off the snap?
Yeah.
Buffalo. We can talk about the Buffalo game, too.
It's like the Miami Dolphins. Nick.
I'll tell you, Stoney, I don't want to say I told you so, but I down the field, I said all it takes is a run back, give them good field position. This could be a ball game.
And I think we're going to have a long ball game because they're going to do some running and pounding at each other.
1st and 10 Cardinals. Wayne Morris turns to the outside. The Jets have that good wide pursuit, and Wayne Morris ducks out of bounds. Little or no gain on the play. Hennessy, who's a roving linebacker, 63, ran him out.
Is that the strength, Nick, of the 34th? Playing the wide run because of the lateral pursuit you can get?
Well, depending on your inside linebacker, Sonny, because some of those inside linebackers, take Sam Hunt from New England, he lines up like 1 yard off the guard, and it's almost like a 7-man line, so it's tough to run inside or outside because they have good lateral pursuit, yet they can jam up the middle. I think it's a great against the run.
Sam Hunt plays at 270, they say, Nick. 270-pound linebacker. Hazarkowitz hands off on a draw. That's a good long yardage play. And Wayne Morris, sacrificing his body for love of the game, crashes in for a gain of about 8 yards.
Pretty good fake on this. He looks like he's going to throw the football, which is what you're supposed to do on the draw, but look at him. Good execution on this play, handing it off to Morris, and he finds a little. They were expecting the pass.
Well, they sure were. Keith Worthman, really a good block up there. I tell you, the Jets have to get off the ball. They're not making any penetration across the line.
3rd down and about 2 for the Cardinals. First quarter, the Cardinals lead 7-0. Wayne Morris, he hit down to the 35. He had to get to the 35, and it's probably going to call for a measurement. Darquist doesn't think he got there.
Now the official is raising his fist up, so that means it's 4th down. They're not even going to measure that. So it's the first big decision that Wilkinson has to make. You know, he does have the momentum, and as we know, it doesn't come too often. When you have it, you better go after it. So they're going to go for the 1st down. They're not even going to attempt a field goal.
Ricky Bell just ran the ball in for Tampa Bay. They lead Chicago 6-0. 4th and less than a yard. Otis is the fullback, a line behind Pizarkowicz.
Bet it goes to Otis.
You got it. He got there. Looks like he got there on the 2nd try.
You're right. 2nd try, the 2nd effort by Otis. Gave it to the horse, and he kind of plucked his way in there. Looks like he picked up the 1st down.
Well, that was a big play for both teams, because this could really generate some excitement with the Jets if they held them. And the Cardinals, if they continue to make 1st downs. Let's see.
I don't know. It looked like they moved the ball back.
I don't know. They better measure. I know if I was out there, I'd insist on a measurement. I know what they've done, Sonny. They turned the ball.
Oh, yes,
look where the ball
did.
is. They turned the ball sideways.
They looked like they really moved it back about a yard.
That's unbelievable.
Jets take it over. Cardinals didn't get there.
How do you put a ball sideways?
You're not supposed to turn the ball in a situation like that, but what a crucial play that is. They can control the game because it's just the way you mark the ball has all together, whether it's a 1st down or 1st down the other way.
Who stopped the drive? The officials or the Jets?
What a marking, huh?
It's weird.
To mark the ball. He looked like he went across the line.
He definitely hit inside the 35.
Since when do you do this?
I thought he went across the line.
All of a sudden, now they're going to get technical, and they're going to put it just the way the guy fell.
You've never seen that done before?
They make a measurement, 4,000 of them a year, and the ball is placed like that.
If you're on the side of the field, what do? They throw it back to the middle line and put it down.
That's right. Absolutely unbelievable.
That's a big break for the Jets.
It's going okay?
Oh, yeah. What happened to my...
With Sonny Jurgensen and Nick Bonaconte, this is Don Criqui back at Shea Stadium in New York. 1st quarter of play. Jets have just held on 4th and 1. They have the ball, but they trail St. Louis 7-0. Matt Robinson hands off to Kevin Long. And Long, accelerating nicely, gets close to 10 yards. He got the ball out across the Jet 46, knocked down by free safety Ken Stone of the Cardinals.
No, you don't teach a back that. I don't care what they say, son. You don't teach a back how to find a hole and accelerate through it. They can take a guy in training camp and work with him for months at a time, but unless you have that instinct, you can't play that way.
Something that impresses me about watching the Jets here in the opening minutes of this 1st quarter is that they remind me of the old Cleveland Browns. They stay on their feet as an offensive line, they run through their blocks, and they allow that back to cut one way or the other.
Didn't Walt Michaels play with Cleveland a little?
Yes, he did.
10 years.
It's the first time I've spoken to him, too. He used to kill me.
You love linebackers, don't you?
Oh, I mean, like sitting next to you.
1st and 10 now for the Jets. Here's the pitch back to Long. Good back block by Durking as Long gets ahead for 4 yards. Kevin Long was a 7th-round draft choice 2 years ago out of South Carolina. Ran out of that Houston veer down there. Had to do some adjustment to make it as a pro running back. He's a 212-pounder. Doesn't have the great speed, but is very, very good at picking his holes and making the quick shift of feet, changing direction. He's got over 500 yards, and more importantly, is averaging over 5 yards a rush.
Boy, that's a mouthful, Don.
He has. He's been a big number for the Jets. 2nd down and 6 now for the Jets. Robinson fires up the middle, and Wesley Walker, the game breaker from California, takes it down to the 26-yard line. He's been the killer, averaging 25 yards a catch.
Same pass they threw earlier, this time to Walker, but look how quickly he sets up and delivers this ball. No hesitation, threw it in rhythm, found Walker open.
Now Wesley Walker's incredible. How do you average 26.9 yards per catch? Now, that is absolutely sensational.
And both their wide receivers are averaging over 20. Gaffney's got over 20. So the Jets start to challenge now. They trail the Cardinals 7-0. Scott Durking, a power back, works hard and gets ahead for 4 or 5 yards. Kurt Allerman knocked him down. Allerman, one of the 11 Penn State linebackers in the NFL, local product from nearby New Jersey.
Nick, what do you do defensively when you're giving up like 192 yards a game against the rush? As a defensive signal caller, do you try to blitz a little more? Do you try to change things, slant, guess?
Pray more.
Pray more? That's a good answer.
Whatever will work, huh? Durking is hit very hard by Bob Pollard, the left end, number 82.
There has to be a lot of pressure on Bob Pollard. There's Detroit jumping out ahead of the Chargers 7-0 in the first. But Pollard, you know, in that trade from New Orleans when they had Dobler going down there and Harris, and then all of a sudden Pollard's brought in there for the pass rush, and I think he's done that part of it, but the rushing game is what's really killing the Cardinal defense.
Right now, Wesley Walker, the guy who caught that big gainer earlier, is wide to the left.
262.
Robinson takes a look, gets it away, but Jerome Barkin, the tight end, can't hold it. We might have a call, though, on Kurt Allerman, number 50, who was covering the tight end on coverage for the Cardinals.
Boy, does that kill you, Sonny? You make a defensive play like that?
I loved it as a quarterback. Take your hands off my receivers.
I think he had him. I think Allerman did have him. With one arm, I couldn't see, but it looked like it was wrapped around his waist. Let's hear it.
Pass interference, 50. Defense, first down.
See if we can pick it up here. Robinson hangs in there. You're looking at it from the end zone. See if you pick it up right at the bottom of your screen here. You see number 50. He's got his hands on him. I'll tell you something.
No.
Oh, I saw a little push off.
Sure was.
Well, the Jets got the penalty. They're 1st and 10 now, just outside the 10-yard line. End zone throw. Wesley Walker, too much on it. Robinson, the Jet quarterback, played collegiately at Georgia. He was on the bench most of the time because they ran the ball down there, and he came in only on passing situations. Came in as kind of an unknown commodity, other than they knew he had a strong arm. But it was almost beneficial to the Jets. They found they had 2 quarterbacks they can win with. When Richard Tye went down, Robinson has picked up beautifully.
His arm was a little too strong then because he had Walker open.
If anybody's gotten the break so far, it sure has been the Jets on the officials' calls.
It'll be 2nd and 10 now from the 12-yard line. Here comes the run, and Scott Durking carries the football. Doesn't get much. Cardinals run him out of bounds. Steve Niels, an outside linebacker, number 53, and Bob Pollard, number 82, combined on the hit net. Dawson's been in a lot of plays. Middle guard. Giants moving quickly across the river.
I beg your pardon. What is that?
Very little respect being shown here, Sonny, to those Redskins. Pizarczyk threw 43 yards to Jimmy Robinson, and the underdog Giants take a lead over a club they've beaten the last 3 times they've played.
That was their game plan, to make him throw.
But unsuccessfully.
Yeah.
3rd and 8. Here's Robinson looking into the end zone. Up the middle. The ball is caught. It is not good for a touchdown nor for a first down, but it'll be close to the first down, about maybe a yard away.
Well, I think they'll go for the field goal this early in the game. They really have no choice.
Running back Bruce Harper caught the ball, and you're right. Here comes Pat Leahy.
All you have to do is go back to the Notre Dame game against Missouri, where they didn't go 6 times, had an opportunity to kick a field goal. They lost 3-0.
And the Jets have an excellent field goal kicker in Pat Leahy, a young man out of St. Louis University. From Augustinian High School in St. Louis, he has hit 12 of 14 field goals for the Jets, and the 2 he's missed have been outside the 50. Played on 3 NCAA soccer championship teams at St. Louis for the Billikens, and now he hits the field goal, and the Jets are on the board with their first 3 points. It is now a 7-3 game. The St. Louis Cardinals in the lead, and again the Jets will be kicking off to a man who's been most impressive for St. Louis, Willard Harrell. Boy, Danielson threw for another one. Detroit. Oh no, Fouts.
So Lydell Mitchell on a weak back short option beat the inside linebacker all the way to the goal line. And we have a 7-7 game. Detroit, San Diego.
Please don't say that.
Yeah, 7-7.
Yes. Hello, this is Mike Lucci along with Ted Lindsay and the Detroit Red Wings off to a great start in the National Hockey League. Marvin Hughes producing.
He now leads with 58 points.
Yes, he does.
Pat Leahy has just put up 58 points for the season. He is the leading scorer in the NFL. It's a 7-3 game. St. Louis leads. Here is the kickoff. This time Jim Childs takes the ball downfield, crosses the 20-yard line. A rookie out of Cal Poly gets it out to the 26, and the Cardinals go on offense. And here comes Pizarkowicz in the offense out. Blake Whitlatch was the tackler for the Jets.
Make that 7 apiece. Fouts to Lydell Mitchell, 55-yard touchdown pass. That has to be the weak back short option where the back comes out of the backfield, right? Beats the linebacker. Would you
He
say
does it
so?
as well as
I'll buy
anybody.
that. I'll accept that.
What does that mean?
Sonny doesn't know.
Sound like you got beat on one of those, Nick. You remember that?
More than once.
Pizarczyk, home run ball. Nell Gray. He has it. Oh, he lost the football. Pizarczyk just put the ball on the money as well as anybody's ever gonna that distance.
I'm going to tell you something. He makes a perfect throw here. And I will have to say that I think Mel Gray is looking into the sun. He's looking right back into the sun. And after the play, he takes a look back upstairs at it. But he should have had the football.
Another factor is, Sonny, that ball comes down weighing about 15 pounds from that high up. But he was looking into the sun. That's absolutely correct. And it's probably the factor that resulted in his dropping the ball. 2nd and 10. Chandler, the tight end, switches over strong to the left. Pizarkowicz goes to the draw to Wayne Morris. It worked before, and Wayne Morris breaks ahead, is upended as he crosses the 35. He's going to be about a yard short of a first down. He's played good football here.
Well, that offensive line again, it's a draw play, and they're just outrooting everybody. There's Steve making a block. Nice cutback by Morris. You know, one thing he does go north and south pretty well, which is important.
I tell you, I've seen him play a lot of times. I've never seen a back except maybe Haskell Standback that takes as much punishment as he does.
Well, his legs are kicking, his arms are flailing. And they're close to a first.
Jess Phillips from Michigan State was the, oh my God, he used to run straight up into a brick wall. Here comes Jim Otis ahead for a first down for the Cardinals out to the 42-yard line. So St. Louis gets the second down draw play to get close to a first down. Then Otis subsequently takes it ahead for the first down.
You know what I like, Sonny? At least we know that Pizarkowicz isn't going to hand the ball off all afternoon. He can't put the ball in the air. Talking to Jim Hart, Hart says he can throw the football, but the problem is his inexperience. He can't read the defenses.
Difficult situation for him to come into to, must type of win.
Pizarkowicz a lot like Hart. He doesn't have a lot of mobility, the very strong arm, as Otis carries for 5 of penalty markers thrown in.
Guess what we're going to have here?
What happens when they throw the flag at a lineman?
On the lineman?
And it hits him in the back.
The ultimate insult. A hold is signaled against the Cardinals.
Well, you can actually another break for the Jets because the Cardinals are moving the football on the ground, but here a holding penalty. So now you have a situation where they don't want a Pizarkowicz to throw the ball that much. So you're looking at a draw or a screen, I think, but right now, Sonny.
Holding 51. Offense, first down.
Tom Brahaney, the center, is called for the hold.
Let's see, that's Chandler making a block on Buttle. I don't know, it looked like a good shove to me.
You're not allowed to on running plays.
1st and 20 for the Cardinals. Ball at their 32.
Whoa.
There was a major league hit by Larry Pillars, number 76, the left end.
He just defeated the block, Don. He just came inside of the block of Roman. Got the handoff. Strange calls. 1st and very long.
Not today, it's not.
A handoff.
Now I look for the screen pass. 2nd down and long. Let's see.
You know, the Cardinals came into the game as the 3rd-ranked pass team in the NFC, even though they lost all 7 previous games. So the pass has been most of their offense. They got to go to the run with the inexperienced quarterback, and this time they're reading Wayne Morris all the way. Joe Klecko, the right tackle, knocks him down.
The success of the draw is only determined by how you throw the football. You just can't continue to run a draw play unless you're going back and throwing the football some, because just like you said, Don, they're starting to look for it.
That's Jurgis Thuram.
3rd and 18. Jurgis Thuram on that is drop back, crank up the rag arm, and give it all you got.
There you go.
Zarkowitz against a 3-man rush, has time, puts it up. Burgess Owens, the free safety, intercepts. Mel Gray doesn't have him down, he loses him. And finally, Burgess Owens is knocked down by the tight end Al Chandler at the Jet 35-yard line.
Well, this really wasn't one of Pisarkowicz's better passes. Gray comes over and makes a cutback here. He's just underthrown all the way. Burgess Owens is playing center field as the free safety, so he's just sitting back there as you see it. Gray doesn't make the tackle, but they don't pay Gray to tackle.
I don't think it's such a bad throw. It's just like a punt.
Well, the idea may not so bad. The throw wasn't so good.
It did result almost in what a long punt would have been. The ball's at the 35. The handoff straight ahead to Scott Durkee. He's ahead for 3, running right at the Cardinals. There was some question as to whether or not he'd play, had an ankle sprain. Mike Dawson, the nose tackle, middle guard, knocked him down.
The ultimate insult, though, is when your own man in practice knocks you down and hurts you and you can't play on Sunday. That's what happened to Durkee. He got hurt in practice this week.
That's right. Thursday he went down. It wasn't in a game.
One of the new men, too.
Robinson has Wesley Walker open. Boy, that's some nice combination. Robinson throws that overhand fastball, and Wesley Walker just darted in front to take it.
Same pattern you see from the end zone here, the same pattern they completed the last drive. A little crossing pattern. Gets it between the linebackers. You see how many white shirts are around. Kenny Stone coming up making a tackle.
Boy, is he fluid.
What do you think of Robinson, Sonny?
Oh, I'm impressed with his ability to throw the football.
1st and 10, Jets. They trail the Cardinals 7-3. 7 seconds to play in the first quarter. Durking has the ball and promptly puts his nose right down and goes inside the 35-yard line for a gain of 8.
He's got a good motion when he gets back and takes a look around the field. Good motion.
You know, I like Richard Todd's statement. Richard Todd says, I'll be back in 4 weeks if I can get into the lineup.
Right. Well, that's the end of the first quarter. The Cardinals winning the first 15 minutes of play, 7-3, but the Jets driving now as we come back to open the second period. Benny Ricardo, field goal.
10-7.
Detroit Lions.
All right, go Monty Clark.
Come on, what are they doing?
Not taking very good care of you, is one.
How many points is,
How we doing, Bill?
how far to that trailer are they getting?
Is it Tim Kearney or Carney? It's Kearney.
Kearney. C-A-R.
I think it is.
Kearney.
Well, that kid Walker can play.
Oh, he's so fast, isn't he?
He's so smooth. Love the way he runs those
Linebacker
patterns.
drops are really hurting him because they just run that same pattern.
Oh, yeah,
when they cross.
absolutely. Looks.
You like to get that in, right, Marv? You don't have too many to brag about.
You want to see a grown man cry in the booth?
Sure.
I'll be down in the I'll be down in the press room.
Huh?
What other ones have you got? So we can keep tabs.
Look at Nick Bonacani gets top billing here.
That's right.
Look at
Well,
shoot
you know why, don't you? I spent so many years toiling in a toilet bowl.
Benny Ricardo's kicked a field goal. The underdog Lions leading San Diego 10-7 at Pontiac, Michigan. With Nick Bonacani and Sonny Jurgensen, this is Don Criqui back at Shea Stadium in New York. Opening play of the second quarter. Jets trail the Cardinals 7-3. Jets run the ball. Kevin Long, their money back, takes it inside the 30. He has a first down. Pollard hit him.
You know, Nick was talking about earlier about running at football the way he is Kevin Long. He has great eyes of finding the open spot to run the football.
You know, Clark Gaines, the guy who backed him up, actually started last year for the Jets and was beaten out this year by Long. I asked Walt Michaels, I said, is there anything wrong with Clark Gaines? Now Gaines comes into the lineup, but he says no. He said he just got beat out by Kevin Long. Two good football players.
Yeah, Gaines is a good blocker. They've got some nice backs. None of them really high draft choices, but they've all played sound football. 1st and 10 now for the Jets. 29-yard line of St. Louis. Here comes Clark Gaines, and the Cardinals are looking for him. Tim Carney came across, wrapped him. Dawson was in on the play. Dawson very quick off the center's block, moving out to make the hit.
You know, the difference there is not so much the running of Gaines, it's the blocking of Harper. Harper's the halfback now. When you take Durking out, who from the waist down looks like an offensive guard with his legs are so big, I think you lose something.
He looks like your old teammate Nottingham.
That's right, Nottingham and Charlie Toller with the old Houston Oilers.
2nd and 10. No gain on the last one. Here's Robinson, a blitz against him. He eludes it. Pollard's after him. Pollard's got him. He gets the ball away, and it was up for grabs. Arneson had a play on the ball, very nearly a Cardinal interception.
Here's Pollard. Now, here's the man who was acquired from New Orleans in that trade.
That's
He's going to
almost
put
holding,
some pressure on. Well, you can put your hands out there as long as you don't wrap them up. He grabs Robinson around the waist, but Robinson has a lot of poise, Sonny. He really does. He hangs in there. He's looking for his receivers all the time.
After scrambling, he showed me a lot of poise putting that ball back when he knew Pollard was behind him.
I know one thing. That's not the healthiest thing you could do.
Joe Danello's just hit a 31-yard field goal. Giants 10, Washington nothing. 3rd down and 10 now for the Jets. Robinson against a big rush, steps into the pocket, and they're going to get him. Down goes Matt Robinson at the 35-yard line. And down goes a penalty marker, Sonny, inside the 15.
The laundry's out down there. We may have had a pass interference call. Be a big break for,
Yep, that's the
for the
signal.
Jets again.
Boy, does that kill you? Whew.
When it rains, it pours.
Man, you know, when you're trying to get your team together and you're trying to do something defensively, and every break goes against you, it's got to haunt you on the sideline. It really does.
There's the Giant number now, up to 10 in the first quarter.
Fight on, you Redskins. What was that one, Sonny? They're not fighting too hard today.
I'm going to have to teach
Illegal
you the song.
contact, 23. Defense, first down.
Well, you called it. Pass interference, Sonny. First down.
Well, it gives him automatic first down after throwing Robinson for a loss.
Ken Green, a strong safety. All for the interference. It's 1st and 10 Jets. They trail 7-3. Bruce Harper, little free agent running back, runs the ball inside the 20 and down to the 17-yard line. Bruce Harper out of Kutztown State, went to Dwight Morrill High School in nearby Englewood, New Jersey, and his best friend was none other than John Travolta.
So is that true?
That's true.
I love that trivia, don't you? Cricky's trivia.
The Cards trying to do something defensively here. They're shuffling in people according to the situation. Jankowski's in that defensive end.
2nd and 3. Running the ball straight ahead inside the 15-yard line where Ken Green makes the stop is Scott Durking. Keith Simons also on the tackle.
Coming back on the field now, Mike Dawson coming back in for Keith Simons. They're shuffling people in and out.
Well, it's a little warm, but by now they should be in condition, I would think.
I don't think that's a reason. I think they're doing it more for the situation, pass or run.
Mike Dawson started the season off very slow at nose tackle, Sonny. As a matter of fact, they were having problems. People were running up the middle. But then in the first Dallas game, he just became a stalwart, and since that time, he's been real tough against the run.
I want to understand about playing the nose guard position. It's a difficult position to coach. You have to have instincts to play it.
Well, great analysis of a nose guard is just look at a pinball machine. And you see the ball coming back, and it keeps bumping off one thing and going to another one. That's what the nose tackle is like. He's getting blocked down by guards. He's getting blocked straight ahead by the center. The backs are knocking him around. It's not a healthy place to be.
Well, Dawson's got to do a big job now as the Jets start to mount a challenge for what could be a go-ahead touchdown. 1st and 10. Robinson to Scott Durking. Jets run into the left side of the Cardinal defense for a gain of close to 4 yards. The ball down near the 10-yard line. Steve Niels, outside linebacker, on the stop.
So do you notice the backs, the Jet backs especially, what they're doing? They're not outrunning their blockers. They stay behind the blockers. They set the block up for the offensive guards and tackles, and then they move behind it. They're in no hurry to get to the hole.
That's why they've been rushing for 162 yards a game.
Doing something right.
2nd down and 6 now for the Jets. 10-yard line of the Cardinals. Kevin Long is hit hard by Eric Williams as he gets down to the 8-yard line. Bob Pollard was also on the stop for St. Louis. Cardinals playing tough when the yards get short. That's going to bring up 3rd and about 5.
Boy, the Cardinal coaches love Eric Williams. He's been injured most of the season, but his coming back has to help that linebacking core.
Williams was a sound player at Southern California. Hurt part of the time. Been hurt part of the time this year, but last week he came back strong against the Dallas Cowboys. 3rd and 5. Robinson looks into the end zone, rushes on. He throws on the run. And the tight end, Jerome Barkham, takes the ball in at the 2-yard line for a 1st down. Steve Niels was covering.
What a great catch he makes and stays in bounds in doing so. It's really kind of an ad-lib play. He doesn't have anybody to throw to. See him running out of the pocket. Look at him. Just touches down and keeps in bounds.
Barkham came in as a wide receiver out of Jackson State, as you remember, Nick, playing against him. Then they moved him to tight end. He's still one of the fastest players in the Jet team.
I'm glad I wasn't that linebacker, and I'm glad I didn't have to have that coverage against him.
So the Jets, trailing 7-3, have the ball point blank now. 1st and goal from the 2. Durking, touchdown Jets. And the Jets take the lead 9-7. Nick?
Boy, you talk about blocking by an offensive line. Son, you could have ran that one in yourself.
I doubt that, but the thing gets plagued the Cardinals throughout the year, and that's being able to stop the run. You really like to see your defensive teams fight a little bit down there, and they got in a little easy that time.
Well, that was Scott Durking's first rushing touchdown for the Jets, so that's got to be a big one for him. Did you see Rasmussen, 66, the guard? The old warhorse who they were looking to cut before in training camp made the key block on that play.
And he's got to feel a little old, 12-year veteran, and everybody's average. They average less than 2 years experience.
1.7, that's right, 1.7 a man. But right now they've come back to take the lead from St. Louis, 10-7. We've got a long way to go. 10:57 to go in the 1st half.
Goddamn officials calls, though. Shit. Goddamn officials.
Look in my pocket there.
It's going all right, sir?
Inside pocket cigar.
Very well.
In this day and age with all this automation, it's just great to have 3 guys up here together chatting about something that's so important to America.
Hey, I think it's fun.
To the games. The Jets have rallied back. A sustained drive. You see 65 yards, 12 plays. Durking on the payoff end. They now lead the Cardinals 10-7. Line drive kickoff by Leahy. Skips downfield. It's picked up by Childs. And he is waffled at about the 19-yard line.
Willard Harrell was directing traffic on that one. I think he should have been throwing a block.
Lots of action next Sunday as we make the turn to the second half of the season. The ninth week of play. The Cardinals go against the Eagles at Philadelphia. San Francisco's at Washington. Detroit at Chicago. The Giants go against New Orleans, and Tampa Bay plays Green Bay. Consult your local listings for the game and time in your area. All the action, as you know, begins with the NFL Today with Brent Musburger, Jane Kennedy, and Irv Cross a half hour before kickoff. Wayne Morris working very hard for 3, perhaps 4 yards as he crossed the 20-yard line and was knocked down by Abdul Salam. That's going to bring up 2nd down and 6 now for the St. Louis Cardinals. They took the lead off the opening kickoff. Good return by Harrell. Good drive. They went in for a touchdown, led 7-0. The Jets put up the next 10 points. They lead 10-7. Kazarkowitz hands off. Morris running hard. Gets out across the 30. He's got a first down for the Cardinals.
I think that's Steve Jones there running
Steve
a football
Jones, right.
from. Don't be talking about my people from Duke.
He's just come in, coming off a wing formation. He comes around.
Steve Jones, what a nice guy he is. Good football player.
They must have been looking at Kansas City's films because it looks like the old wing T that Marv Levy's installed with the Chiefs.
That was working pretty good at the outset of the season. They seem to have caught up with it, though, the defenses.
I'll say. They haven't won in 5 weeks.
1st and 10. Otis runs hard. Salam, the nose tackle, knocked him down. Gain of 2, maybe 3 out to the 33.
Look, Nick, no one's perfect.
That's right. We're all learning. That's all we're doing. Everybody learns. A new experience every week, Sonny.
Here's a guy that's having a new experience this week. Steve Kazarkowitz.
Well, just think of the thrill it is for him to come in and being nervous about the game and everything.
Sweaty palms, upset stomach.
So before the
So
game,
much
he didn't
fun.
look. He looked very confident. He looks more like a linebacker than a quarterback. He's a big, strong kid. Kazarkowitz dropping to throw. Penalty markers down. He swings it out.
I can tell you what this penalty is going to be.
Wayne Morris got the first down if the play goes.
Oh, come on, let me guess.
You guess.
Illegal procedure.
Right. Al Chandler was going toward the line of scrimmage in motion.
Now that's a problem, Sonny, because he's only been in camp with the Cardinals for about 2 weeks. He was picked up from the New England Patriots when they let him go. So he's just really learning what the system's all about. And that's what Jim Hart told us. He was having a problem adapting.
He started toward the line of scrimmage. Let's see if it was number 87.
Illegal motion.
That's it.
87. Offense.
Tight end.
2nd down.
Al Chandler.
Now I know why you were a quarterback.
You
So
can see,
smart.
watch him. He's not allowed to go toward the line of scrimmage. He can go parallel or away, but not toward the line of scrimmage, and that's exactly what you picked up there in that replay. Good little picture there.
2nd down and 13 for the Cardinals. Otis working hard. Got back the penalty yardage, or part of it, and then took a hard shot from Salam, a 265-pounder out of Kent State.
Terry Steve wheeled up through the hole on that one, Sonny, but there's only one problem. He forgot to look to the inside. That's where the pursuit was coming from.
You know, Don, you're talking to Bud Wilkinson down on the field before the game, and he said, you know, you're 0-7, but this particular game is a test of the character of your football team. When you got a new quarterback playing, and whether or not the rest of the players pick up the slack and overcome the adversity, the injury to Jim Hart.
Well, that's the big question, and the Wilkinson says players like Deerdorf and Banks, the veterans who've played on so many winning teams in recent years at St. Louis, won't let the other Cardinals get down. He doesn't expect attitude to be a problem. This team still wants to win very much, and we'll be back with the second quarter in a moment.
I'm blowing it away from you.
No, it's not that.
You know, there's people from El Producto last week. They mentioned to me, they said, Mr. Cricky doesn't like your cigars, does he? They said, how come you said El Ropo? I said, you want me to say El Producto he didn't like? I have to come up Thursday to do that thing.
Oh, you're going to do
Are
it?
you doing a
Good.
commercial for them? That's great. They're good people.
It's not a television, it's a Subway magazine tape.
Oh, that's good. That's
Print.
read by a lot of people. Anything to get out of Washington.
The Cardinals, as we go back to live action, come out of the huddle, 3rd down and 11 at their 31. Jets lead 10-7, second quarter, 8:12 to play in the half. Zarkowitz drops to throw. They send a 3-man rush at him, and he fires the ball hard. Looks like he might have his guy. He does. Diving reception by Steve Jones for a first down. Picked it right off the grass. Those Duke guys are something.
Well, what a great catch. I'm sure he didn't learn how to catch a football at Duke. You see the drop back here. Jones coming out of the backfield, running a crossing pattern. If he hadn't thrown the ball so hard, he could have let him a little bit and just let him keep running with the ball, but he drilled it to him. Made a good catch, picks up the first down.
Major adverse development for the Jets. Burgess Owens, their free safety, a Pro Bowl quality player, is out for the rest of the day with a bruised shoulder following that interception. Ken Schroy is in. As the Cardinals go to the run to Wayne Morris, going wide, he's across the 45. So they've got some inexperience in the secondary of the Jets now.
If you saw the beginning of the play, Al Chandler coming in motion to one side, then reversing his field, going back the other way. That was not a mistake on his part. Jim Hart told us about that at the beginning of the game. They're trying to make the defense make an adjustment, then go back the other way.
Trickery in the heart of Bud Wilkinson.
You can't win with gadgets.
But we're going to try.
Whatever works. 2nd and 5. Jets are looking for the run, but still, Jim Otis responds with some yardage, gets to midfield. It's going to bring up 3rd and about 3.
Talk about tough competitors. Number 35, Otis.
Didn't he?
You have to love the guy because he'll go in there and he'll just knock and drive and fight for everything that's out there. He's going to give you more than 100%.
There's something that impressed me being down on the field talking to the Cardinal players. The attitude is good.
Oh,
You
yeah.
have to respect each and every one of them for hanging in there, and things are going wrong. Everything's happening against you. Playing the way they're playing and giving it all they got.
They're going to be in this game all the way, I think. They're not going to let up. Here's a blitz. Zarkowitz, he's strong, gets it away. Bring up 4th and 3. Zarkowitz goes down, but he was hit hard by Hennessy, that roving linebacker, and still Hennessy could not knock down Steve Zarkowitz. Hennigan also was on the play. Zarkowitz unloaded and saved the lost yardage. It would have come on a sack.
Wonder whose heart came of it in his throat down on the bench. How about Mark Mangas? Huh?
Oh, my God.
Been with the team since Thursday or something.
Mark's taking a cram course with Jim Hart on the sideline.
Oh, he's a super. Jim Otis. Congratulations, Jim. You and your family, you deserve it. You're a heck of a back.
All-American at Ohio State. Said he wasn't fast enough for the NFL. New Orleans drafted him a ways down. Kansas City got him first. And the Cardinals, pretty much a free agent, rushed for 1,075 yards in 1975. The punt by Little goes into the end zone. There's a player the Cardinals are going to have to get more from. One of their 2 #1 draft choices. He was the first player taken, Steve Little out of Arkansas. Had a lot of problems against Dallas punting the ball last week. We'll be back in a moment.
Fun.
Any other scores coming in?
The only ones we're interested in are.
Gotta get a Cleveland score.
Could you tell Cleveland to start the game? Sonny's interested.
Kilmer might play today.
Oh, really?
If Joe doesn't do well. He hasn't played well the last 2 weeks. back to what he used to do.
Is that right? He's running his own game now, right? You forgot about everybody else?
Well, he still wants to do it all himself. And they got to keep him in a certain attitude, not let him do it. They won't even let him call all of them, except on certain occasions.
Mr. Al Mayoni, please report to the press gate. Mr. Al Mayoni to the press gate. Mr. Ted Ruslowski.
Jim Otis goes to the sideline. The Cardinal defense on the field now. St. Louis trailing in the game 10-7. We have 5:57 to play in the first half. Jets on first down fire a wide receiver screen. It's taken in by Wesley Walker and defended against very nicely by the Cardinals' Carl Allen.
Well, what a good play Allen makes, and on coming up, reading that quick screen to the flanker.
You know, one of the remarkable things about Wesley Walker, the Jet pass catcher, is averaging almost 27 yards a catch this year. He's legally blind in his left eye and still catches the ball.
Maybe that helps him.
I don't know. Maybe you can't hear footsteps. You can't see the guy coming, but he's terrific. Absolutely terrific.
Second and 12. Robinson pitches back. Here's Kevin Long following Chris Ward, and Robinson pitched back to Long, resulting in a gain of about 3 yards. Washington's on the board across the river at Giant Stadium. Mark Mosley, a 41-yard field goal. 10-3 Giants.
Redskin offense, field goals.
That's right. And boy, can he kick them. Oh, he brings rain. Some of those, they go so high on those kicks. Now, Kevin Long last week, 136 yards rushing against the Colts. He's a quality back.
That was his best day ever as a Jet, 136. Robinson takes a look over the middle. Man is open. Derek Gaffney, who played on the other flank from the great Wesley Chandler at the University of Florida last. Gaffney gets wide open and just lets the ball cruise right into his hands.
This is a perfect call. They had a blitz on, and you have a crossing pattern call, and you look at that. Carl Allen trailing Gaffney. Difficult position for Allen to be in. You see Kenny Stone coming up making the hit on Gaffney, but what a good call and a good throw by Matt Robinson.
Worley on the play also. It's first and 10 Jets. They lead 10-7, second quarter. Robinson's going to put it right back up. Wesley Walker, first down at the 45-yard line of the Cardinals.
So do you think they're picking on Carl Allen a little bit here? They've gone after him the last 3 times too successfully. Once to Gaffney, now they come back here. Walker makes a beautiful move, and you have to respect him because of his 4.3 speed, so you have to play off him. Carl Allen needs some linebacker help out there, Sonny, to take away that short pass. He can't do it all.
They were in a blitz again, Nick, and it was just an excellent throw and a good concentration on the catch.
Detroit is putting San Diego to rout, 24-7 now. As the Lions having their problems, here is a screen pass. The ball is taken by Clark Gaines and defended against very nicely by Mark Arneson, the veteran outside linebacker, who led the Cardinals in tackles last year, always in on the play.
Boy, does he make a play there, Nick. If he escapes Arneson, he's gone for a long way.
You know, again, that's instinctive. Those screens are, they're set up, of course, to take advantage of the drops of the linebacker and the rush of the defensive end. But Arneson read that one all the way, hung right in there and beat Rasmussen's block.
I think Richard Todd might have said something before, Nick, about if I can get back in the lineup. Robinson looks excellent at quarterback throwing the ball. Here's a pitch back to Durking. Guards in front, and the Cardinals come up hitting. Eric Williams, 55, who really puts his nose in there, and Steve Neal's also on the play. Here's the score from Pontiac, Michigan. Gary Danielson passing very well against the San Diego Chargers, somewhat of an enigmatic team. You never know what they're going to do. They might beat Oakland one week. And
are they playing with 6 men, or are they playing with a full 11?
I don't know. Detroit with Monty Clark, they've had their problems all year long. Best game they played all year was against your Redskins. Got beaten the last minute. A pass to McDaniel.
Now we have a whistle blow, and 2-minute warning is given. 2 minutes left to play in the first half. The Jets holding to a 10-7 lead over the Cardinals. When we return, the Jets will have the ball 3rd down and 8.
baby.
They're so inconsistent. You could bet on their team. Why don't you bet on Pittsburgh with even with the spread?
A dime.
That's why I don't bet football. I like to enjoy the game. You can't enjoy when you're betting. You really can't. It's hard to enjoy the game, watching a game to get a bet on it. Especially when it's going. It's hard to watch a game and get a bet on it. I mean, just it's hard to watch. Yeah, when you're ahead.
You rotten.
That's true.
That's why I don't think they ever ought to legalize gambling. Too much pressure on it.
With Sonny Jurgensen and
A little. Anytime you put that arm back in a slingshot position and a guy's coming in to hit you, you are probably at the most vulnerable point.
a lot of arm injuries to that, shoulder injuries.
You want to see my operations?
You got him on both shoulders, don't you?
I'm full of so many nuts and bolts I can't even get on an airplane.
You set that alarm off. Willard Harrell fair catches the ball and then wisely signals for the fair catch and lets it go in for a touchback. And with very little time remaining in the first half, 45 seconds on the clock, the Cardinals get back the football, and when we return, they'll be going on offense. First and 10. They trail 10-7. We're away.
Boy, Joan, it's nice to hear your voice come in and count down.
Better than Marvin's.
The Red Wings won't make the playoffs.
Look, they had that.
What?
There's only 2 games underway now.
3.
The St. Louis Cardinals, the first time they got the ball in this game, if you joined us late, got a good kickoff return from Willard Harrell and then drove the ball right at the Jets. Never threw a pass. And subsequently went in with a touchdown. Jim Otis hitting in from 7 yards out to give the Cardinals a 7-0 lead. The Jets have now come back and they lead 10-7. Here's Otis running hard as the first half winds down. 39 seconds on the clock running. Ken Schroy, 48, and Bobby Jackson, number 40, on the stop for the Jets.
Unusual call, Nick, running the football there. Even though they do pick up a first down, still have a long way to go.
I think he'll put the ball up. I think it'll be deep, though. They're going to probably go for Mel Gray on a fly pattern. He'll be working against Taylor. Let's see if it happens.
Kozakowicz throws the ball hard, and Steve Jones is tripped up. Greg Buttle, one of those big Penn State linebackers, tripped him up. Buttle and Allerman of the Cardinals played together on some very good Penn State teams. Back the line.
Going to get a little timeout here for Steve to come over. Or they call him the Zark, huh? Zark's coming over to talk, and Jim Hart's standing in there also.
NBA basketball returns to CBS at 11:30 Eastern time next Friday night, with the world champion Washington Bullets going against the Golden State Warriors and Milwaukee taking on Seattle. Consult your local listings for the game and time in your area.
I've seen Washington play, and they're for real.
They're unbeaten again.
Oh, boy, they're playing. Dick Motta said they're better than they ever were last year.
Seattle doesn't miss Marvin Webster too much either.
Seattle
They're rolling.
Lost. That's right.
They are really rolling.
They've got 2 very excellent coaches, Dick Motta and Lenny Wilkins, who's done a, well, of course, St. Louis fans all remember him on his days with the Hawks. Boy, he's some basketball coach.
And I bet you thought Sonny and I didn't know anything about basketball, right?
Well, I would never think that.
Are you
There's
kidding?
nothing I would put beyond you men.
I had more basketball scholarships than I did football, but I started growing out instead of up, so they get rid of me.
I'll tell you, another guy who can stick it in the hole is your friend Kilmer. His shot is from the 1930s. He's got the one-hander from the corner. Well, you stick him in with the Washington Bullets and see who wins the shootout. He can put it in the hole, Kilmer. Pizarkowicz takes a drop, throws, and Mel Gray has the ball, and he's not done yet. Mel Gray, back at full health, is inside the 25-yard line with 1:08 left to play in the first half.
What a great throw by this man right here. Boy, do they have a crossing pattern. Everybody crossing. And who do they get to? The man they want to more than anybody else, Mel Gray. Good, strong throw on a crossing pattern. Bobby Jackson covering. He avoids one tackle, keeps going. John Hennessy finally drags him down.
67 consecutive games for that man, Mel Gray, with a reception, Sonny.
Too small
Absolutely
to play
phenomenal.
pro football. Drafted in the 6th round out of Missouri. Now in his 8th year, been all pro. He's had that hamstring pull that's caused him some problems, but he was back at full speed, quite obviously.
I don't want to say anything, but I did call that play.
Very nicely done, Nick.
No, you called it the play before that. You said they were going long, and they threw the screen.
Well, but they couldn't get the play in time, see?
Oh,
They
that
read
was-
my mind.
Now show us something to call the next one. Tomorrow night on CBS, concerned citizens is what they want, but weirdos is what they get when WKRP in Cincinnati issues the call. Enjoy this new comedy tomorrow night, followed by People, which spotlights Wonder Woman, Linda Carter, the Electric Light Orchestra, superstar Diana Ross, Paul Newman, and others. MASH, One Day at a Time, and Lou Grant round out tomorrow night's top television lineup here on CBS.
Boy, that WKRP is a gas, isn't it? That's wild.
It looks like one of your shows in Washington. So.
Are you kidding?
Jim Hart offering counsel as best he can to Steve Pizarkowicz. Just keep doing what you've been doing. Pizarkowicz has been intercepted once, but he is obviously a young man who is not faint of heart. He's right out there pitching it right into his own defense with 6 defensive backs running around a lot of plays.
I tell you, he's having more fun than anybody. I'm sure he'd like to win, but just to get off that bench and get on the football field and play, you've got to have confidence in yourself, and he's showing it right here today.
Give those unheralded offensive linemen a lot of credit. They're giving him the blocking.
Pizarkowicz looks, goes back the other way. A little too much on it for Pat Tilley. If you get it near Tilley, he'll catch it.
And the reason he had too much on it is because Mike Hennigan was in his face as he got ready to deliver the ball.
Was he looking him off?
No, he didn't have a time to look off anybody then. You design, when you come to the line of scrimmage, you take a pre-read and decide which side you're going to throw the ball to begin with. But Hennigan came on a blitz and got in his face.
Looked like he threw across the field, Sonny, on that one. Looked like he started to the right and then went against the grain to the left.
Second and 10. Pizarkowicz throws. Too much on it. Tilley was running an in pattern. Mel Gray was running a fly. Wasn't near either of them.
Looked like the whole world was blitzing on that one, Don.
Yeah, they sent everybody. The scoreboard clock is broken. We're informed now that there's 36 seconds remaining in the first half. They've had some problems with it, so the official time is 36 seconds. That, of course, is a major consideration, a major problem for a young Cardinal quarterback trying to direct an offense, not knowing what the official time is.
It's just why you're kicking on. It must be shorter than that, being only third down here. Third down's on the clock, on the marker on the sideline.
That's right. Jim Bakken, 17th year. Points are up. The game is tied at 10. So with Roger Worley holding, Jim Bakken drills a field goal, and the Cardinals tie up. The New York Jets 10-10.
And that puts Bakken down within 2 points of tying Lou Groza for the all-time lead. 1,344 career points.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Boy, that's a lot of kicks, isn't it?
I think Jim would like to have that kick back last week. It hit the crossbar against Dallas.
Tuesday night on CBS, Steve McQueen and Dustin Hoffman star in Papillon, the most thrilling escape adventure of all. Don't miss the 3-hour CBS special movie presentation, Papillon, Tuesday night starting at 8 7 Central and Mountain Time here on CBS.
You see that? Great movie.
Great
Oh,
flick.
no, he had more moves than Derek Gaffney in that movie.
Supposed to be true.
That's a great. I read the book. It's a super book, so the movie has to be tremendous.
Did you really read it? Book's too
I
long.
can read now.
It's too long for a linebacker to read.
Has a lot of pictures in it.
These are pictures. That's it. 31 seconds now, we're told, remains to be played in the first half. Jim Bakken hit the field goal for the Cardinals, tied the game. And now Little will kick off. Steve Little ready to hit the ball for St. Louis. A sidewinder. He skips the ball intentionally downfield. It eludes Bruce Harper. That's a free football, and Harper picks it up inside the 5. And the Cardinals are going to close him down just across the 10-yard line. Mark Mosley's hit a 35-yard field goal for the Redskins. They now trail the Giants 10-6 in the second quarter.
Sonny, why did he kick the field goal on third down? I don't understand that. There must be 30 seconds left, and why didn't he go for the touchdown?
Had to be something to do with the
Interception
whether or
potential.
not. No, I don't think so. I think it had to be whether or not there is that much time left. With problems on the clock, you don't want to take any time and let the thing run out. But I would imagine that they would have, with 30 seconds to play, you'd go for another play.
Chuck Will, our producer, is giving us the official count on time, which he is getting from the sideline official. It's 26 seconds left in the first half now. Kevin Long turns the corner and doesn't get much as Mark Arneson grabbed down and rode him down.
What a gorgeous day here in New York, Don. I came in Friday night, and it's been absolutely beautiful for 3 days. Sensational, like Miami.
It's a big day in New York. Not only 2 pro football games, the Giants in Washington and the Cardinals and Jets, but 2 million people were watching the New York City Marathon. 11,000 runners competed. So the first half comes to an end, and the Cardinals and the Jets play through 2 quarters to a standoff, a 10-10 game. And I think, Sonny Jurgensen, you have to be complimentary in your assessment of Pizarkowicz getting his first start after playing only 2 downs from scrimmage in the regular season prior to this.
Definitely. I've been impressed with both quarterbacks, especially Steve getting his first start. He handled himself well. He got a lift from the offensive line in the first drive where they took the ball and drove the length of the field and got on the board first. I think that was a big plus for him. He didn't get behind immediately and have to start putting the ball up. He should have had another touchdown. Remember the long pass. Don't forget the long pass that he threw to Mel Gray that couldn't find the ball in the sun.
Good point.
Or he would have had another touchdown on his very first throw in the game. They could be leading this game very easily.
Nick, if you were a coach and you looked over this talent out here, who are some of the best young players you've seen?
Well, right away, of course, comes to mind has to be Long, the fullback, for New York. Also, Wesley Walker, the second-year man out of Cal. That man just has so much fluidity, and I say that because he just runs his patterns without breaking stride. He sets up the defensive back before he makes his move. And of course, the other one is Derek Gaffney. Again, another youngster who played quarterback at the University of Florida, haunted the Miami Hurricanes for all those 4 years he played there. But then now he's also coming into his own. Anytime you have a team with such little experience performing the way they have today and all year long, then you have a lot of bright spots on a ball club.
Sonny, we hear so much conversation watching pro football and hearing coaches talk about the problem of young quarterbacks reading defenses. They say that's the key to really becoming a proficient National Football League quarterback. What are some of the things you look for when you read defenses?
Reading defenses starts during the week at home. When you're sitting at home looking at films, that's where you learn how to read defenses. And then you just react once you get on the football field. But that's an individual thing because that's where you have to learn it.
You do that in the screening room for the most part. All right, the score at the half here at Shea Stadium in New York, the Jets 10 and the Cardinals 10. As the marching bands come out onto the field, we have a cast of thousands here, and it is a lovely day. The temperature at game time was about 68 degrees. It's risen considerably since then. It might be in the mid-70s now. Humidity not a factor, and very fortunately for both teams, wind is not a factor. Very often it can be here at Shea, as the stadium is a horseshoe-type facility located right on Flushing Bay, and the winds can gust in here, and you can get flags blown about 6 different directions.
This is the first time you can notice the infield of the stadium down there. This is the first week that they've put down grass. It has to be the best condition, Nick, that I've ever seen this football field. You've played here many times. I've never seen a better day in Shea Stadium.
3 worst stadiums in the league. I can name them right off. Used to be coming here to Shea Stadium. The end of November, 1st of December, that wind used to be whipping off LaGuardia. Coming into this stadium, it was absolutely incredible. The other one, Baltimore, which is still horrible. And the third one, Washington, which they finally resodded.
Boo!
What a blow that is.
Are they going to pick it up in the studio?
Rod Williams, Bucky never showed up, huh? Chuck?
Typical New York star now, huh?
Hey, the most MVP.
Why don't
We
you
need
get
our
us-
jackets.
why
We
don't
don't
you
have
get
our
us-
jackets.
We don't need jackets, do
We
we?
don't have our jackets.
Wait.
All right.
I can turn around.
Where's your jacket? Jesus.
It's just a juggling act.
Right.
All the props.
Okay. Well, you can call me Nick. Or you can.
Welcome back to New York Live. Some of you are waiting because we were hoping that another network could join us, and they did. Let's take you around the league right now. Many of you are watching this game, Chicago and Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers lead it by 3, 13-10 at the half. The rest of you are watching this contest, which is tied at the half, St. Louis 10 and the Jets 10. The New York Giants have just scored again. They are dominating the Washington Redskins in the Meadowlands late in the second quarter, 17-6. Buffalo and Cincinnati at the half. Chuck Knox's Bills are ahead by a field goal. San Diego and Detroit. So far it has been all Detroit, 24-7. That game in the second quarter in Pontiac, Michigan. Green Bay and Minnesota scoreless in the first quarter, so important today for the Vikes to get back in the W column. Philadelphia and Dallas scoreless in the first. Dorsett not playing, Martin not playing for the Cowboys. Cleveland leading Kansas City by a field goal. That game is in the first quarter. And Jane, how about the New York Marathon? How'd that turn out?
Well, Brent, more than 2 million people lined the streets earlier today to watch the New York Marathon. And one of those who was waiting at the finish line was Jack Whitaker. So now let's go to a report from Jack Whitaker.
Welcome to Central Park in the city of New York on a beautiful autumn day and one of the greatest days this great city has ever seen. The 9th annual New York City Marathon is coming to an end. Bill Rogers about to win his 3rd consecutive title. In the women's division, a mystery lady. Number 1173 is leading at this point. We don't yet know her name. It all began at 10:30 this morning. 11,142 men, women, and children started running on the Staten Island side of the Verrazano Bridge. An incredible sight on this warm autumn morning. Every state in the Union except South Dakota was represented as these runners attempted the 26 miles, 385 yards of the marathon distance through the 5 boroughs of the city of New York. Over 1,100 women are competing, 1,458 lawyers, doctors, and dentists, 71-year-old Walter Stack of San Francisco, 9-year-old Howard Brynan of Connecticut, runners from 28 countries, housewives, ballet dancers, and 4,800 people who have never run in a marathon before make up this joyous group who celebrate the biggest day that running, the sport of the 70s, has ever seen. We are looking down now at the finish line, the last 385 yards that they will run. As we told you, Bill Rogers, the defending champion, the record holder for this event, he took over the lead at the 8-mile mark along with Gary Bjorklund. Gary Bjorklund and he dueled until 15 miles, and now here he comes, all by himself, an exotic and joyous Bill Rogers, about to wrap up his 3rd consecutive New York City Marathon title. And listen to this crowd. All right, here we are with the winner, Bill Rogers, his 3rd straight, and you are Mr. New York right now.
Well, it's a pleasure to be that way, I'll tell you. It was very intense pace early in the race.
Wasn't it? Why was that? Because of the great competition?
Only one runner. Well, first Ian Thompson from England, and then Gary Bjorklund busted it wide open too early. And I knew that he was making a mistake. It was too early. And about 10 miles, he seemed to suddenly falter.
That was from about 8 miles to 15 miles in that stretch. Were
Yeah.
you were right together?
Yeah, right on 13 miles, 10, 12 miles. And we decided, we told each other we'd run with each other for a little while. But then I knew that it was either, if it had been later on, I would have considered tying with him. But this way, it looked like it might be risky to win, so I decided to go on ahead,
Well, what you did was absolutely correct. Terrific, Bill. Congratulations. You are the hero of this country right now.
I'll be back next year.
Attaboy. Back to you now, Brent.
All right, Jack, thank you very much. Jane, the fastest woman, has one come across yet?
Yes, Greta White's, and as a matter of fact, her time was a record. She came in 2 hours, 32 minutes, and 12 seconds, and she was one of those people that was the first at ever running a marathon distance.
What a chauvinist I am. What, over 4 hours since this? Of course we've had women come in.
Of course.
Listen.
Of course.
Out in Chicago, where Johnny Morris works, Richard Waldo is a sports producer. We're going to show you a package that they put together after the Dallas-Washington. It was a Monday night game, and apparently Robert Newhouse was tipping the offensive plays for the Cowboys. This is somewhat tough to see. He's the right running back. Do you see the mouthpiece dangling down as he goes out? I know it's tough, but every time the mouthpiece was hanging down, Staubach went back to pass. Now let's show it to you again. Now here he is coming right at you in motion. Do you see it dangling down? It's one of those that's tied up with a face mask there. And that meant that Staubach was going to go back and pass. And whenever the mouthpiece was inside the mouth, such as this sequence right here, the Cowboys were coming with a running play. Now, Irv, could the Washington Redskins have been picking this up?
No question, Brett. They could have used that as a key. Many players develop all sorts of characteristics in their running and passing style. Some players lean one way or the other, and oftentimes will tip plays.
Now, watch last week, Irv. Different mouthpiece, one that was in for running and for passing plays. And the NFL Today will continue on CBS right after these messages from your local stations.
The grass is always greener over the septic tank comes to television. Starring Carol Burnett and Charles Grodin. A very funny look at life, Wednesday at 9, 8 Central and Mountain.
This is CBS.
Don isn't even here. Do you want us dressed?
You don't want us dressed?
Coat, coat, coat. Mr. Criquet is not here, but we're okay. 35 seconds, guys. Okay. You're not coming at us on camera in 35 seconds, are you? You want us to turn around, or you want us the same way? Here he is, here he is. Okay. You can call me Don, and you can call me Cricky. 15 seconds, Don. 10 seconds. We can start.
right, here we are back at Shea Stadium in New York on this lovely October day. And the score at halftime is the Cardinals 10 and the New York Jets 10. And very shortly we'll be back with the opening kickoff to start the second half, as the Cardinals will have the ball teed off and they'll be kicking off to the Jets.
Any hot dogs or anything?
Okay.
All right.
Very good, sir.
We need our jackets? Yes.
Okay.
Does that mean for a short period of time?
How's the mix sound? All right?
My hair's a mess done. Can you fix my coffee?
Nick, you're getting a little gray.
Detroit's out 34-7.
There they are, ladies and gentlemen. Monty Clark's Detroit Lions
Boy, that was
pummeling the San Diego Chargers, and Don Coryell, ex-coach of the Cardinals.
Hey, that's a great tip of the week.
Card 5.
I love it. That's a sure thing.
What does it say? Just tell me, I'll memorize it. The preceding league. Come on, Joni, get together now. Get your stuff together, Joni.
The game's underway.
Got another Paisan up here in Bonacani, Joni.
Typical Marvin news. Stepping on my cord, someone.
Oh, it gets so hectic up here. so nervous.
So nervous.
It's kill the light. Jeez.
Sunny as in money.
Light.
The preceding announcement was brought to you as a public service by the National Football League. Now we're ready to go to open the second half. Steve Little has the ball teed up for the Cardinals to your left. Back deep for the Jets, Darnell Powell and Bruce Harper. This is Harper at the goal line. Left the football behind. Pick that up, Bruce. That's a must. And the Cardinals knock him down at the 10.
That's good coaching, Don.
Got to have that. Do not run forward without the football. That's rule number 1. Now, rule number 1 is wear your hat on the field. Play with a helmet on. Willard Harrell came down to make the play on special team for St. Louis. So the Cardinals might be tough. They were ahead 7-0. Fell behind 10-7, then tied it just before halftime on the Bakken field goal. And so we start the third quarter with a 10-10 game with the Jets in a hole. 1st and 10 at their 11. Very little gain on that as Scott Durking got the call and the Cardinals closed it right down. Here's some first half stats for you to analyze, Nick and Sonny.
You know, the Cardinals very surprisingly rushing for more yards than the Jets. The Jets have been averaging what, 190 or 200 yards a game. I think that's the biggest stat. Now the Jets in passing yards is about even.
Hey, the Lions are putting a hurting on San Diego. It's now 31-7. Here's a handoff to Scott Durking. He's across the 15. That's going to bring up 3rd and about 5. Ken Green, the strong safety, number 37, first-year player from Washington State, where he played under the present coach at Missouri, Warren Powers, as a collegian.
I'll tell you how accurate Sonny is. Sonny predicted. He says San Diego's has to rebound. Detroit 34, San Diego 7. Well, I'm glad you're not coaching.
Dawson is the middle guard for St. Louis. Pollard at one end. John Zook the other. As Robinson drops to throw. Arneson was coming on a blitz. That ball hit somebody who wasn't supposed to, as I think he had a little less height than he needed in that one, Sonny. That was about shoulder pad high.
He tried to reload and he ended up hitting a lineman. Good defense. He didn't have anybody to throw to when he wanted to.
You know, the same thing though. Matt Robinson hanging in the pocket though, Sonny. I still think that's a real tribute to a young man like that, because most guys, when they feel pressure, like to get out of that pocket and start to scramble. I think the trademark of a good quarterback is hanging in there, and that's what he's doing.
Anybody would get out if you had the ability to get out.
Chuck Ramsey back deep now for the Jets, standing inside his 5-yard line to punt. Cardinals set up a return. Ramsey hits it well. Willard Harrell backpedaling to the 35, 40, 45. Whoops. Something about he who hesitates as the Jets catch Willard Harrell, knocked him down. Kevin Bell was the first man down to get him. So when we return, it'll be the Cardinals on offense for the first time here in the third quarter, with this game tied 10-10.
No, we need hot dogs.
Never got a hot dog.
Chuck, I thought he was coming.
He's gone.
All indications where I talked to him yesterday, he was coming. And I don't know what happened to the guy.
Hey,
Harton Zark.
Bucky Dent went to winter baseball.
That's right. He's in Venezuela.
Let me take this to set some lineups now. They've got one to go into this Cardinal. All right, the Cardinals break the huddle. A makeshift offensive line, not makeshift, but revamped because of injuries. Brahaney's the center. Tom Banks is playing left guard. Terry Steve, the right guard, and running right behind that interior line and straight ahead out to the 49-yard line are the Cardinal backs. They're getting some good yardage, gunning it straight out. Greg Buttle came up to make the hit on that play as Jim Otis brought the ball ahead for a gain of about almost 7 yards.
Well, I don't know if that's right. 31-7. They corrected it. Before it was 34-7. Detroit way out ahead of San Diego. Well, I got you. Monty Clark right now is relaxing for the first time in over 2 years.
Yeah. Another handoff, and Jim Otis is knocked down this time. Playing off the blocks nicely was Jackson, Bobby Jackson, the left corner.
Jim Otis trying to run like Terry Metcalf that time, trying to be elusive. Didn't quite get it. You know, I watched the Cardinals against the Miami Dolphins down in Miami. And that Cardinal ball club fought and scratched and was in the game all the way up until the fourth quarter when there was a blocked punt. And then Miami took it in to win. But they were a good football team that day. They were a good football team against Dallas last week, and they're good today.
Kozakowicz pitches it back. That's a free ball. Greg Buttle picks up the football. The ball's going to come back. He can't run a fumble in.
Can he run a lateral in? How about a lateral?
I think you can run a fumble in.
You can run a fumble in, but not a lateral. That's right.
You can't run a lateral.
Only the offensive team can pick up a fumble lateral and advance it. Defensive team can only recover for a fumble recovery.
It was a lateral. They were running the option. He pitched it, but I tell you,
and that's always the question: was it a lateral? You got to look and see just how the ball was pitched back. Cal Lepore said it was a fumbled lateral.
Spot of recovery, first down.
Well, we know one thing: Buttle can run.
Yeah.
Well, you can bunch that play.
Yeah. Back to the drawing board.
That's one you file away in a round filing cabinet.
Robinson on first down looks to burn the Cardinals. Now he's going to run with the ball. And he's ahead for about 11 yards.
Well, he was looking at Derek Gaffney, the wide receiver, all the way. And the opening come up the middle, and Robinson, who doesn't have particularly quick feet, found the big enough hole to make the first down. I'm sure Walt Michaels on the sideline is not too happy about his running.
Well, I'm glad you didn't do games when I played. Talking about somebody's quick feet.
We never worried about you, so that's one thing we never worried in the game plan was your scrambling.
First and 10 now. The Jets on a turnover, driving back with the ball. Clark Gaines runs it inside the 25-yard line. Kevin Long in the backfield with him. Long coming into the game as the Jets are alternating play calling with running backs. Gaines goes out. Bob Pollard and Tim Carney on the stop for the Cardinals.
Linebackers are much improved since Williams has come back to join that core. He really gives them a lot of strength in the middle.
Eric Williams, one of the interior linebackers. Niels and Arneson are the outside linebackers. Alderman in the middle with Williams. Handoff as the Jets pound the ball right at the St. Louis Cardinals on a second down and 6. They advance the ball to the 20. Arneson was on the stop along with the middle guard, Mike Dawson.
You know, you're looking at the St. Louis Cardinals and you have to feel for the entire organization. But in talking to the other football teams about playing them, you can't imagine, I tell you, it's a lot of respect for that football team. Personnel-wise, quality of people-wise, everybody feels the same way.
Kevin Long was looking to run with the ball before he had caught it, and so it goes as an incomplete pass. Brings up 4th down, and Pat Leahy, the #1 scorer in the National Football League, the Jet place kicker out of St. Louis University, comes on the field.
Just to touch upon that again a little bit, Don. I was talking with Derek Gaffney on the field. He said, I'd rather be playing Pittsburgh than St. Louis. Just kind of a straight thought. That's the kind of respect they have. He said, we know what kind of football team this is. This is a good football team. They're not a 0-7 football team.
That's for sure. Dallas Cowboys got out of there with their uniforms in an overtime win. Leahy hits it hard. Boy, he has been so tough. Pat Leahy hits another long one. And the Jets again break the tie, and it's now a 13-10 game. The Jets in the lead.
Hot dog.
Hi, down there in the East End.
Mrs. Bizarkowitz.
Would you raise your hand?
They're related to the new Pope.
Oh.
Everybody is now, you know. Well, Bob Young on the sideline, 64, finished second in it last year, and he's with the Cardinals. Here's one at Kansas City, Arrowhead Stadium. The Chiefs and the Browns locked up on a field goal for a piece, 3-3 in the first quarter.
Sam Tigliano, the head coach, is having some rough sledding for the Cleveland lately.
Jim Childs returns the kickoff, and again the Jets are down to cover hit quickly. Got it past the 15-yard line. Jets fired up right now. Here's how the Jets scoring drive broke down. A field goal by Leahy, the payoff end, and the Jets lead the game 13-10 in the third quarter. We have 9:57 to play in it. Apparently the stadium clock is working again here, Nick.
Thank God. Now Pisarkowitz can look back and see how much time remains. I would say right down here they'll feature Jim Otis, the fullback. He's been the most consistent ball carrier. He holds on to the ball real well.
Handoff to Jim Otis. He comes across the 20 out to the 21-yard line. Mike Hennigan makes the hit.
That's what made you good playing defense. You anticipated what the offense was doing, huh?
No, I guessed.
I wasn't going to say that.
It was wrong many, many times.
How about Deerdorf at right tackle, Sonny, for the Cardinals?
Could be the best in football.
He's leading the blocking on this play as Wayne Morris turns the corner, doesn't get too much. I know your friend Ron McDowell from the Redskins feels he's a full afternoon, doesn't he?
Well, right then he took Lawrence Pillas all the way to the sidelines and pushed him out of bounds, and Morris didn't cut back in, and they pushed him into the play. But Ron McDowell, who goes about 285, 290, just about as big as he is, he said that, you know, when you line up in front of him, he's so big you can't even see the backfield.
Between McDowell and Deerdorf, they cast a shadow over the entire field.
He said they waltz around a little bit and dance a little bit.
Third down and a long 3 for the Cardinals. Pizarkowitz takes a look. Fires. Just too much on it for Mel Gray. Gray was open. And Pizarkowitz has got a cannon arm, and the ball came in very hard. And so the Cardinals will have to punt the ball back to the Jets now.
Jim Otis on that series became the second leading rusher in Cardinal history. Absolutely super. I think Johnny Rowland is the #1 rusher for the Cardinals, and I think he just surpassed a great running back in his day, John David Crow.
Well, what an accomplishment that is for Jim Otis to come in. There you see him. But to come in and be traded from team to team and, you know, come in there to the Cardinals, and one time they didn't know whether or not he had the speed or the size to play the game.
Little's punt carries downfield to Bruce Harper at the Jet 37. They set up a return, and Harper breaks it. And Harper's all the way back inside the 35-yard line.
Boy, did he show a little burst of speed.
Oh, that was a great blocking, though, by the Jets. They had that set up. It was a line drive punt. And it was run back right down their throats. And number 51, Brahaney, the center, is limping off the field. And we'll be back after this.
Well, you know, they said in that, Don, in
Yeah.
the Washington game, besides Parrish going out, Beasley Reese broke his leg.
Who's Beasley Reese?
He's a
Giants
safety.
wrong safety.
I don't want to see it again.
Makes that Monday night show that Sonny has much more difficult with
How about
Pardee.
Monday night, what about
I don't know, what is your
Monday
show?
night is a live show we do with a player. It's on Friday night. I tape the Pardee show.
Oh.
And you think that's fun?
Where's the hot dog?
How long were those field goals? Do we have any? How long were those field goals? More stats if you can get them. Thank you. Dallas has jumped out to a 7. Here we are back at Shea Stadium, right across the river, actually 2 rivers, the East and the Hudson, and the island of Manhattan. The Giants are playing Washington. You see that score 17-6, been some injuries in that game. Here's a throw to Derek Gaffney. Matt Robinson fires the ball in, and Gaffney, the rookie from Florida, turning in, makes the reception on the free safety Ken Stone.
Watch him pump this ball. He pumps the thing, there's a fake, comes right back, moves left in the pocket. Boy, what a good throw he makes in.
Boy, did he take a hit by Yankowski. Just as he let the ball go, Yankowski pounded Robinson.
Hey, Carl Allen was beaten very badly on that coverage. Durking running straight ahead. Touchdown, Jets. All of a sudden, the Jets rally from a 10-10 halftime tie with a field goal, and now a hard driving touchdown run by Scott Durking.
Well, you know why they're 5th in the American Football Conference in rushing. Look at this play, all the way in. Good hard running and good blocking at the point of attack.
Again, number 66, Randy Rasmussen, 12-year veteran, making the key block on that play. And
Pat Leahy converts the extra point, and so The Jets now move out to a 20-10 lead. We have 8 minutes and 22 seconds to play in the third quarter.
Well, that's got to be the worst scoreboard I've ever seen. You can't read it.
What? Get some hot dogs. Go ahead. Get some hot dogs, too. Hey, go in the press room. Go. Bring some hot dogs. All right.
Okay.
All the way on this Harold.
Here is the replay of the touchdown run by Scott Durking.
66, Randy Rasmussen leading up through the hole, opens it up, and Durking, just with tough, hard-nosed football, plunges into the end zone for the Jets.
Now live action. Here's the kickoff. It carries into the end zone for a touchback. So the Cardinals will get it out to their 20 with a going offense, 1st and 10, trailing 20-10 with 8:15 to play in the third quarter. Sonny?
Well, the ball control of the Cardinals is going to have to go for naught, Don, because they're going to have to get the ball in the air right now. I know the game plan before was for Prasarkowitz to keep the ball on the ground, work Otis, work Morris, occasionally throw the football, but now they're going to have to open it up to Gray and to Tilly.
Yeah, that's, I think, very definitely the case, Nick. Here's Jim Hart on the sidelines. He's been counseling Steve Prasarkowitz at halftime. Get back in it. The Cardinals are going to have to throw. And that's what Steve Prasarkowitz is ready to do. He puts it up. Man is open. Mel Gray, the ball is a little high again. They're very close to connections. Very close.
Well, unfortunately, close is only good in horseshoes, but but on that particular play, again,
Dancing,
Gray had his
like
man and dancing. He had his man beaten very bad, Bobby Jackson, the cornerback, but the ball was thrown just a tad behind him, and Gray had to make an acrobatic effort. That's a real good ball game,
Hey,
Don. 16-13. Tampa Bay's coming. For Chicago, just a little bit more juice so far.
2nd down and 10, as you see. Prasarkowitz, the quarterback. Al Chandler, the tight end, goes in motion. The handoff goes to Wayne Morris. And the Jets, who were burned early in the game, you recall, with a couple of draw plays, Morris carrying, and Otis have been keying on it down long yardage plays, and that time they knock it right down. Klecko, number 73, the right tackle, and Greg Buttle, 51, were on the stop.
Big black and blue division game right here. Minnesota jumping out ahead. Bart Starr surprising Packard 7-0 in the second quarter.
Tarkinen just threw 16 yards to Chuck Foreman for the go-ahead score for Minnesota.
Not a bad combination.
Hey, how about it? Foreman's fabulous back. Tarkinen's been outstanding for a lot of years. Prasarkowitz throws and just missed a connection, and in fairness to Prasarkowitz, as soon as he started to release the ball, he was just nailed.
Well, give that credit to Joe Klico, a big favorite here. Watch number 73 come pouring into the right. He just lays into Prasarkowitz right here, just as Joe tries to release the football. Good play.
So now the Cardinals are forced to punt again as Bruce Harper drops back deep for the Jets, standing at about his 45-yard line. Looks like Jim Bakken in the game to punt. Cardinals have Bakken in to punt right now. I don't know, they drafted Steve Little to be the place kicker and the punter, and Bakken is ending up doing both in the 17th season. I don't know if Little might have pulled a muscle on a kickoff or what. Harper not done yet, keeps going. There's a penalty marker down.
There was definitely clipping on that play, Don, but I think the problem with Little is the last time that he was up, he line drive that punt. And he's little, I think that's the reason he's not playing. He's sitting on the bench. Doesn't look like there's anything wrong with him, but I don't know.
He looks like he could have taken a hit. He's feeling some pain, Ed. Have someone down talking with him. I think he got hurt. He must have gotten hurt. So Bakken to come out. Boy, wait, when you come into the league as a specialist, to be drafted #1 as a kicker, and then get hurt your first year.
That's tough. But, you know, I guess the big complaint, if you have a complaint against a rookie like Little, was that the reason he's not kicking the field goals.
Personal foul, clipping, 50 on the return, first down.
Is that he's not getting the trajectory. Sonny, the ball is coming on a line drive more than in getting it up in the air. And that's the problem. So that's why Bakken's doing all the field goal kicking.
I would imagine a lot of that has to do with the fact that you kick off a tee in college, and when you come into the pros, you have to kick the thing off the ground. And being a sidewinder, they have the tendency to kick the ball low, and that is a problem.
Next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern Time, the CBS Sports Spectacular. It features a shootout of the Phoenix 150 for USAC National Championship in auto driving. Al Unser and defending USAC champion Tom Sneva go head-to-head. For Unser to win the national title, Sneva must finish worse than 10th, and Unser must win the race. Keep in mind, of course, in these races, there's usually 60 to 70% breakdowns. You'll also see World's Strongest Men competition, an event that Bob Young of the Cardinals finished second in last year. The event this week is the car lift. Next week they lift buildings.
What kind of car?
I don't know.
Namath and Jergy are going to enter that one.
Namath out in California, having recently been canceled, but hoping for the best. Doing very nicely, though. Bought a house in Beverly Hills. Robinson throws. Long goes for the ball, and the Cardinals have it broken up. Right now the score is the Jets 20 and the Cardinals 10. Get a feeling, Sonny, there might be some kind of a stake now. There's a lot of open plays and a lot of defensive people near footballs.
John Zook really put the rush in on that little screen back to the left side, and Zook came through free and got right in Robinson's face. Forced him to make a bad throw.
Let's see right now if they pick on Carl Allen again. They've been going after him. That's number 27, the left cornerback. Not putting the rap on Carl at all, but boy, they've been going after him.
Derek Gaffney's against him. All-pro Roger Worley's against Wesley Walker. Pitch back, a flea flicker, but it's not going to work out very well as Matt Robinson goes back all the way at the 21-yard line. And a penalty marker goes down on top of a Cardinal. Kurt Allerman. Personal foul against the Cardinals. Ooh, that hurts.
Well, they haven't had a break yet, have they?
They sure haven't. That was an obvious flea flicker, Don. That was supposed to be that type of a play where the running back goes into the line, turns around, tosses it back to the quarterback. But it looks like the Cardinals had it in their playbook more than the Jets did. 15-yard penalty.
Robinson never got a chance to find a receiver. Had all kinds of people out in the open.
I tell you, the Cardinals saw all they wanted of the flea flicker last week when Roger Staubach scored a touchdown pass for one off a flea flicker.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 5-0 defense, first down.
Allerman called for the personal foul.
There it is. There's a lateral going back. Everybody chasing now. And watch Allerman coming in at number 50, and right there, he kind of spears a quarterback when he's down.
First and 10 on the defensive penalty. Here is Scott Durkin running hard. Penalty markers go down.
Well, he's grabbing his left knee, Sonny. I guess he did hurt it. Oh, it's right knee.
Right knee's got an ice pack on it. He did get hurt, and that's the reason Bakken was forced into punting the football.
They're playing on a grass field. This is the home of the baseball Mets, as you know, as any Cardinal fan would know, a baseball Cardinal. And they've just filled in the dirt infield with grass. Oftentimes it doesn't take in real strongly. make for loose footing and twisted knees on occasion. We don't know if that's what happened to Steve Little, but he does have an ice pack on his knee, which is not a good indication.
We're trying to get some information on it, but that's the first time Jim Bakken has had to punt since 1972. Gives you an indication.
That was a good punt he had, too. I think it was 41-yard punt. Nothing shabby about that one.
Yeah, but that's counting the roll.
Here we go again.
Counts. Roll counts.
Unnecessary roughness again against the Cardinals. They're killing themselves. That's right now. That's 30 yards in penalties. 2 plays.
Offside, defense, penalty decline, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 56 defense, first down.
Well, you can't say they're not moving it around a little. At least they're not calling it on the same players.
Well, I think a lot of this comes from frustration. Just trying to make a play and make something happen.
Kevin Long runs right into the guts, and here is another penalty marker down. Dawson, the middle guard, was on the play along with John Zook. See if this isn't a hold against the Jets.
Well, what do you know? The Cardinals finally get a break. Well, he gave them 30 against. Now they're evening it up a little bit, and they're going to get 15 against the Jets, so they're only down on the minus side 15 yards.
Are you saying the officials are trying to even it up?
No, not at all.
The third quarter clock shows 6 minutes and 42 seconds to play. And here's Cal Lepore.
Holding, center, offense, first down.
Joe Fields, number 65, the center for the Jets. A guy that might be interesting for you to watch if you want to single out an offensive lineman is the left tackle for the Jets, number 72, Chris Ward. He's the second player in from the bottom of your screen there. Number 1 draft choice out of Ohio State. Look at him move that defensive line out, and Durkin goes right behind him.
Talking to the coaches about Chris Ward, the number 1 draft choice out of Ohio State. They feel, and I know this is an awful broad statement, but they feel right now he's probably one of the best blocking offensive linemen in the NFL, and he's a rookie.
He must do a good job here.
Run blocking, yes.
He does an excellent job here. He takes his man out, and look at the cavity he creates. You see where he's got John Zook.
God almighty.
He's taking John Zook out of bounds.
Well, he had Dutton downfield 5 yards every play last week against Baltimore. The Jets blew out the Colts. Here's a pitch back to the other side now. Durkin, who's run hard, comes across the 45-yard line. Cardinal linebacker Phil nicely, and another penalty marker comes down. Tim Carney, 56, was up to make the play.
Now the officials are taking a very active part in the game, and it's starting to rain handkerchiefs on every play. I know that kills the continuity of both teams, the defensive ball club and the offensive club, because if you make a good play and there's a penalty, it really kills you.
Officials are just becoming conscientious.
Well, they are on television, Sonny. I mean,
now, how about you two now? Nick, you played 15 years, and Sonny, you played how many? 15?
73.
Would you believe 18?
18 years. What about the caliber officiating after we hear this call?
Holding, 72, offense, second down.
That was Chris Ward. Has the officiating changed much, the quality of it?
I think they do a tremendous job. I honestly do. What a difficult game it is to officiate. You do have the human element involved in the thing. They make mistakes. Players make mistakes. If you were a player and didn't make a mistake, then you have a right to gripe. But if you make a mistake, then you got to expect the officials also to make mistakes. They do the best job they can.
The only thing I know, Don, is that it's an awful large magnification with instant replay. I mean, we show the people exactly what is happening from a microscopic point of view. And that's never happened in the past. And so this way here becomes quite obvious when an official does make a mistake. And I think this is an awful lot of pressure on a guy.
Well, they say 95% of the time, if they grade out the films, they come out correct. With that 5% really hurts when it's magnified, as you pointed out, Nick.
It's called human error.
Third down now, and long yardage for the Jets. Third and about 25. Robinson, not too deep a drop, starts to run, and the Cardinals sweep him under. Cardinals can come out of this with good field position now as they'll get the ball back on a punt. Bob Pollard and Mike Dawson coming hard on the pass rush. Tampa Bay leading Chicago 19-16 third quarter. Doug Williams ran it in for a yard for Tampa Bay after Roland Harper scored in a 2-yard run for Chicago.
Now you would think the Cardinals might be ready to roll over and play dead right now, trailing 20-10, but they're not. You saw what their defense went on the field and stopped them after 2 big 30 yards in penalties. They come up and stop them. They're going to come away with the football again. That's the thing you have to admire about them. They don't quit.
Here's a snap. The ball is hit end downfield by Chuck Ramsey. Willard Harrell, who's done a big job in returns for the Cardinals, is doing it again. Willard Harrell breaks across the 35 and out to the 37. Diminutive back out of Pacific University. Tampa Bay plays Green Bay. Consult your local listings for the game and time in your area. All the action begins with the NFL Today with Brent Musburger, Jane Kennedy, and Eric Cross a half hour before kickoff. It's 1st and 10 Cardinals. They trail 20-10. Third quarter. Bizarkowitz play faking, swings it out to Wayne Morris. The Jets, who have 4 very aggressive linebackers led by Bob Martin on that play, make a stop after a short gain.
Good play action pass. What it did is it freed up Morris one-on-one with the linebacker. And he does have a little better speed going to the outside because he's running away from the outside linebacker. So it's an easy toss for Bizarkowitz, and it puts him in a good position. 2nd and 4 to either run or pass, and the Jets now have to play it honest.
Bizarkowitz with 2nd down and 4 coming up. He gets a nice option here after a good gain on 1st down. Will they go to that draw up the middle? He's going to take it himself. Gets ahead for a couple of yards. It'll bring up 3rd down and 2. Now it gets tougher for him as Klecko stayed right with him and made the tackle. 73. Joe Klecko's a tough guy, the right tackle for the Jets. Went to Temple, was a truck driver for a while before he went to Temple. Was an Eastern AAU boxing champion, tough enough to get in the ring and spar with Joe Frazier when he was the world champion down in Philadelphia.
I want to see what kind of job the Jet secondary is doing on Mel Gray and Tilley. Pat Tilley doesn't have a catch yet, and Mel Gray only has one reception by the outside receivers.
Bizarkowitz sees a big rush and ducks straight ahead, trying to get the 1st down yardage. He did not. He got to the 45. He had to get to the 47, and so the Cardinals will punt the ball back.
I think that was a design play, a quarterback draw play. They didn't come up enough for the 1st down.
Bizarkowitz is not throwing that badly, Sonny, where you can't put the ball in the air. The man is a decent quarterback with a strong arm. I wouldn't be afraid to throw it up. You're not supposed to win the game anyways.
He's been put, don't tell them that.
I know that, but I'm saying why not throw the football? I think the man has a good arm.
Bakken hits a spiral downfield that carries to the 20. Right ahead is Bruce Harper. We've had some impressive returns, some Harper for the Jets and Harrell for the Cardinals. The ball is advanced out across the 35-yard line to the 37. The NBA on CBS returns next Friday night with the world champion Washington Bullets going against the Golden State Warriors and the Milwaukee Bucks taking on Seattle. Consult your local listings for the game and time in your area. That's NBA basketball next Friday at 11:30 Eastern Time, 10:30 Central here on CBS.
Sonny, the only thing I'm saying is I like to put pressure on that defense. I like to see the man get back there, mix it up, throw the football when he has to. Don't be afraid to go to a great receiver like Gray and Tilley.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. The problem is now they trail 20-10, and they're expecting to throw every time. But if they're going to win the football game, they're going to have to put it up. A great run again by Scott Durkin.
Scott Durkin runs hard and gets out to the 49-yard line.
I'll get redundant about this, but watch number 66, Rasmussen, leading up through the hole, making a good block on Green, which brings Durkin for the good yards.
They have a couple coaches keep Randy Rasmussen from walking out of camp as a rookie. Just didn't figure he had it from Kearney State in Nebraska to make it in the NFL. He's now in his 13th season. Played in a Super Bowl championship team. He's been one of the Jets' best linemen for years. You don't have to be a number 1 from a big school.
No, you don't. I'll tell you, we had a few bloodbaths here. Dave Herman, one guard, and Rasmussen and John Schmidt, the center. A little blood was spilled out there on that field.
Pizarchik's thrown the ball 12 times. He's completed 4 for 62 yards, was intercepted 1 time. Right now, the Jets have the ball, 2nd down and 7, coming up from the St. Louis 48-yard line. Jets lead 20-10. We're in the 3rd quarter. Game was tied at the half, 10-10. Robinson takes a look. Gets it to his tight end, and the hit is made by Eric Williams short of a 1st down. It'll be 3rd and about 1.5. Pizarchowicz with 4 for 12.
And moving him right now, the Cardinals need a big play defensively. They need a turnover, a fumble or something. Get them back in the football game. 20-10. They can't afford to let the Jets control the football.
Ever was a big play defensively for the Cardinals. This has to be it.
Handoff goes, and Durking breaks the crust again, gets the 1st down and plenty more as he drives the ball inside the 35-yard line down to the 32. Ken Stone, the free safety, makes the hit.
From ground level, you can see good blocking, good block by Kevin Long, and they open up a big hole on that side, kicking the linebacker out, blocking down on Bob Pollard, and they created a big hole there. Broke it for the 1st down.
1st and 10, Jets, 31-yard line of the Cardinals. 56 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter.
They're content, right? Run the
Durking
football.
again. Yep, go with that hard back, tough back, doesn't fumble the ball, has not this season.
That's nice, Don, when you can give it to a ball carrier like that, knowing he's going to hand on to the football, run hard, get tough yards for you.
Like Zonka used to do with Miami.
Right. One time I was on the bench with Zonka, and I turned to the guy and said, "Boy, I hope he gets the ball. He never fumbles." Next play, he dropped it.
Second down and 7 now for the Jets. They're leading 20-10 as the 3rd quarter winds out.
Safety blitz.
They picked it up, though, and Robinson gets time. There's a man open in the end zone. Down the far sideline, Wesley Walker wanting the fly pad. Looked like he got shot.
I think they called an audible. They showed the blitz a little early. He changed the play at the line of scrimmage and threw the go pattern to Walker. But I think Walker shied away a little bit from the stadium because he almost was going to run into the stadium. You see, he has good pickup, kept his backs in. But look at this football, how close it is. Ball is out of bounds, but he's getting very close to our CBS Sports sign there. There's a lot of protection in that. He would have bounced off of that.
Yeah, there's a nice hard brick wall behind it. 3rd down now, coming up for the Jets. 27-yard line, 3rd and 7. Robinson looks, throws. Broken up nicely by Roger Worley. Gaffney had a play on it after the ball was tipped, but that'll bring up 4th down now for the Jets, and they send out Pat Leahy.
But again, the Cardinal defense rises to the occasion to stop the New York Jets.
They're blitzing every time now, Sonny. They have to do something to cause some confusion. Get Matt Robinson thinking about the rush. And that time, Roger Worley jumped up, almost had an interception.
One of the problems of the 34 defense, if you don't bring a linebacker, you're not going to get great pressure.
Unless you have superhuman defensive ends. That's what it amounts to.
So Pat Leahy now trying a 45-yard field goal. He's 2 for 2 for the day. Puts a charge into it. He's got it again. This kid has been superior for the Jets. Had a tryout with the Cardinals. Came in as a free agent with the Jets in '74 when their place kicker Bobby Howfield got hurt. He's been with them ever since. Missed some big ones last year. This year he's been the best in the league. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Jets 23 and the Cardinals 10, and we now pause for a word from your local station.
We'd have a commercial for 10 minutes.
Kansas City's beating Cleveland.
Where are you getting all this from, Chuck? Are you just...
How come we don't get it?
We're getting it.
All right.
Back live at Shea Stadium. This is Don Criqui with Nick Bonacani, Sonny Jurgensen set now for the start of the fourth quarter. The Jets extending their lead to 23-10 over the Cardinals. Leahy kicks off. He's now scored 66 points this season, tying his own career high and eclipsing the 63 scored in 14 games last year. He's the leading scorer in the National Football League. He just hit a 45-yard field goal, and this kickoff by Leahy resulting in a touchback, and the Cardinals will go on offense first and 10 at their 20. 15 field goals this season for Leahy, 15 of 17, and the 2 that he's missed have been outside the 50. Garo Yepremian would be proud of those numbers.
And the big thing is he gets the ball up. Balls aren't being blocked. They're not line drive shots. They're good trajectory.
Talked to him before the game. He said he did a lot of heavy weight training, strengthen his legs this offseason. Pizarkowicz drops to throw, puts it up nicely as tight end Chandler has his first reception of the day and gets ahead for a first down. That was a well thrown ball, Sonny.
Finding a little hole in the zone there. Chandler just settles down right in the middle. He had good pass protection. Again, you see it from the quarterback's position. You see how open Chandler is. Just settled down, got stationary in between the linebackers.
Nothing wrong with Al Chandler as a tight end, except he was behind Russ Francis. And the other fellow, the 6'8" tight end from New England, his name escapes me.
That would be the big guy from Colorado. Here's a free football. Back to the 30-yard line.
Little mix up then of who he wanted to give it to, whether or not he was going to give it to Steve Jones or Jim Otis.
Right now, I think you got to go with the bomb to Gray. Gray was open. It's been open 2 or 3 times. One time he dropped it. The other 2 were thrown behind him. So it's not the fact that he's not getting open.
Turdell Middleton scored for the Green Bay Packers. He's been scoring a lot lately. That game's tied 7-7. Pizarkowicz fires. Mel Gray is open, and Mel Gray moves ahead. On a 2nd and 15 play, he got back about 12-13 yards out to the 43-yard line. Ed Taylor, one of the cornerbacks, 38, hit him. They've taken the starting free safety for the Jets, Burgess Owens, to a local hospital to have his shoulder x-rayed. He was hurt in the first half. There's Mel Gray.
This is the greatest experience that Steve Pizarkowicz could have. Being behind in the game 23-10, throwing the ball under pressure. They know you have to throw the football. That's when you learn how to throw the football.
He looks like a major league player up against the pressure, swings it out. Wayne Morris had the ball for a moment, then lost it. That was a 3rd down play. Greg Buttle was covering.
I don't agree with this, Sonny. I think they ought to go for it. They have no momentum right now, 0 momentum. The defense has been playing an awful lot for the Cardinals. 4th down and 1.5.
13:04 to play, though, Nick. You know, and they don't get it, they're out of the game.
Don, the game is momentum, though. It really is. And if you're lacking the momentum and you're really not doing anything positively, you have to change that. And sometimes you just have to take a chance.
Well, they're not going to. 4th down and 3, and Jim Bakken is in for the injured Steve Little to punt for the Cardinals. Bakken hits it not too deep downfield. Gets a little bit of a Cardinal roll. Now a good Cardinal roll. And Bakken has acquitted himself quite nicely as a punter here.
He's getting a good roll, I'll tell you that.
So the Jets go back on offense. They're in command of the game right now, 23-10, but we've got a long way to go, almost 13 minutes. We'll be back in a moment. His third.
Would you have gone for it? Would you have gone for it? Behind 13 points?
Well, third down call was a bad call. They run a play action pass to one guy.
Yeah, yeah. I think Pollard's about the only guy who's getting any sort of a pass rush at all, number 82. But I don't think they're not gonna throw the football here, Marvin. No. If you want to isolate on a linebacker, I would isolate on 55.
Some
Williams.
weeks you give some back, Sonny.
The Jets offensive unit, which has rallied around Matt Robinson, the backup quarterback who had to step in just as Steve Pizarkowicz has had to do for the Cardinals for the injured Jim Hart. Richard Todd went down some games ago for the Jets, and Robinson has proved himself a winning quarterback as the Jets now looking to go for their third consecutive win, something they've not done in about 5 years. And here's a handoff to Durking. He's knocked down. They'll be looking to run the clock, I think, Nick, now the 13-point lead.
Well, they're not going to do anything foolish here, Don. They're not going to put the ball up anything short. If they're going to do anything, they'll throw deep to Wesley Walker because it's almost like a punt. The other thing they might do is right now is draw or screen. I feel Walt Michaels feels his lead is comfortable, and he's going to try to protect it.
Second down and 12 coming up now for the Jets. Clark Gaines runs the ball, and the Cardinals are there to whack him down. He got 2 or 3 yards, and the hits were hard from the outside linebackers Steve Niels in his 5th year from Minnesota and Mark Arneson in his 7th year from Arizona.
Here goes the pass rushing core in for the Cardinals. They like to put Jankowski in, and they take out 2 linebackers. And they also, Cowboys are ahead 14-0 over Philadelphia in the second quarter. Roger Staubach, 11-yard pass to Drew Pearson. Another great combination.
Boy, isn't it? Although their offense has not been that productive, Cardinals pretty well shut it down last week. Here is Scott Durking on a 3rd down and 8 carry, fighting ahead to the 20 as the Jets will be happy to keep that clock running and punt the ball. Jankowski made the tackle. Here's Mr. Durking hitting in there. 5'9", 218-pound fullback from Purdue.
Coming off of a sprained ankle. They were trying to catch him, what you would call, rushing the passer in this situation, taking an outside rush and split it up the middle. Cardinals played it very smartly and didn't go for it. Maybe they'll go for a block here on this punt.
Willard Harrell, you just saw, 39, has been a spectacular return man in this game. They went for the block all right. Excellent punt by Ramsey, who had a 79-yarder last week against Baltimore. Here comes Willard Harrell. So the Cardinals and Steve Pizarkowicz go back on offense, 1st and 10 at their 37-yard line. They'll be back with 11 minutes and 39 seconds left to play in the game at Shea Stadium in New York. The Jets in the lead, 23-10.
Nick, how good are the Jets?
I think they're solid. Offensively, I really do. I really don't see a hell of a lot of weakness.
How about defensively?
Defensively, the defensive line is just very average.
Yes, they got to, yeah.
Here's the thing. Tilly hasn't caught a ball all day, right?
Tilly hasn't caught one, and Gray's caught 2. I guess he caught another one a few minutes ago.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, they got to go to him now. They don't have any choice.
They're going to go to Tilly on this play.
This is an important drive.
I'm guessing Tilly. If he's in the game.
You know, they had a great play in the reverse, and this is the last time we've seen it.
That's right. Well, they haven't had too many short yardage. Well, they did at 3rd and 2.
Somebody's pitching a shutout at Buffalo. Bills are leading Cincinnati 5-0. Pizarkiewicz, in his second year from Missouri, drops to throw and lofts the ball downfield right to the wrong guy. Picked off by the New York Jets cornerback Bobby Jackson. And so the Jets get the ball back, and they'll be running the ball to keep that clock moving with a 23-10 lead.
Jackson played that pass perfectly. He was running to the post before Mel Gray was running to the post. He just read it perfectly. You see the throw going up, and look who's open. Bobby Jackson's open. Another turnover for the Cardinals.
Jets, they could stay with a lot of teams, can't with that long scoring threat.
Jets, the big problem the Jets have, I think, was the only game they got blown out was against Buffalo.
How much depth
they beat
do they
Buffalo
have?
twice.
Have they? No.
Yeah, beat them 45-14.
Oh, was that the? Who that?
They lost 28 to
Seattle. Lost to Seattle.
They lost by 11 at Pittsburgh. That was their worst loss. Stay on that shot, Marv. Bud Wilkinson, new to the Cardinals, as every football fan knows, but certainly not new to winning in football. 17 seasons at Oklahoma, 13 years. They were the conference champion, 3 national championships, 4 unbeaten teams. But so far it is 0-7 going on 0-8 in the NFL as the Jets continue to lead. And here's Robinson firing a long ball down to Wesley Walker. Carl Allen had it and lost it, and there's a penalty flag down. And they point it right at Wesley Walker of the Jets.
That was a very, very smart play by Carl Allen. That's a seasoned veteran cornerback doing what he did. He just read Walker coming down all the way. And what he did is just stepped in front of him and made Walker run at his speed, which is when a guy's running 4.3, you have to do.
The only thing he didn't do was catch a football. That's when the problem. When you're going badly, everything goes badly. And he had an opportunity to do the same thing that Bobby Jackson just did for the Jets. Kind of surprised that Matt Robinson put the ball up on first down. You see the penalty being marked off against the Jets. But Allen should have made the interception.
Pass interference, 86. Offense, first down.
85, Cal. Wesley Walker. You're close.
So it'll be 1st and 20 on the penalty. The Jets with the ball at their 13-yard line. Handoff goes to Kevin Long. Another penalty marker down. They're going to keep airing those flags. Dry them out. Arneson was on the tackle. Another hard one for Mark Arneson. Signals against the Jets.
That's holding. No question about that. But the big thing is here, another penalty puts the Jets back around their 5-yard line. And if the Cardinals could just force a turnover here, they could get real, great field position, score quickly, and be back in the game, only 6 down.
They need to make something happen.
72.
Walt
Offense,
Michaels.
Penalty decline. 2nd down.
His team closing in on a halfway mark of 5-3. The Jets have won but 3 games the last 3 years. They've been 3-11, 3-11, 3-11. Michaels was the coach of the defense, defensive coordinator of the year. The Jets won the Super Bowl, and they won it with defense. Despite the acclaim that Namath got for the quarterbacking, it was the defense that got the Jets to the Super Bowl, as Nick remembers.
I'll go along with that. Offense gets the glory. Defense does the work.
Kansas City leading the Cleveland Browns 10-3 at the half. Kansas City with 1 win and 6 losses through its first 7 games. playing at home against the Cleveland Browns, a club that's taken a couple of tough losses this year. The Jets, as this warm October afternoon wears on, break the huddle with a little less snap. 9:40 and the clock running, left to play in the game. Robinson looking long, double pump fakes. Walker is out there. Well, might have been tipped, but he had the defense beaten, and Robinson had the ball there.
What tremendous speed he has. He just outruns the secondary then. Just couldn't quite catch up with the ball. He had the ball, took his eye off of it, but look at the throw. He runs right through the zone defense.
Just a tad underthrown here.
He had to turn his head completely around to catch the ball. The ball was thrown over the wrong shoulder, but actually ran through the zone.
Looked like Roger Worley might have had a little piece of the ball, but brings up 4th down now for the Jets, and Chuck Rams is into punt. He's standing back inside his 5. Willard Harrell back at the 42-yard line. He'll get good, almost blocked by the Cardinals. Ball takes a hop over Willard's head. He's got to let it run.
Tell you something, he may have gotten a piece of that football. Ball came out very strangely.
Jim Carney was through. So the Cardinals go back on offense with 9:19 left to play in the game. They trail the Jets 23-10 after tying them at the half 10-10.
Feed me down breakdowns if you would, Hank. Stats. Give me some breakdowns like what the quarterbacks have done, who's running for what, as much stuff as you can feed down. We need a lot of stats here.
Buttle 51 is like a young Butkus. Jim Bakken pressed into duty as a punter as well as a place kicker for the Cardinals because of a leg injury to Steve Little. Working on a step into the kick a little bit on the sideline. Right now it's 1st and 10 for the St. Louis Cardinals. Ball at their 43-yard line. Pitch back goes to Otis. Handoff goes, and here comes Mel Gray.
Boy, does that look good.
Mel Gray puts his shoulder in and drives for a couple of extra yards down to the 40. A gain of 17 yards and a 1st down. Ken Schroy knocked him out of bounds.
There's that reverse we've been looking for.
Looks like he's going to take off. Mel Gray runs
Pitch
so
back to Otis, who hands back to Gray, coming back
Billy
to
Motor.
the other side. Had a lot of blocking.
The great ones, their feet barely touch the ground. They're so light.
Lowers his shoulder, pounding that
Got about 3 yards.
linebacker.
I beg your pardon.
That's a good call. Just before we broke for commercials, Sonny predicted they should bring it back, and they did.
That's his 3rd of the season. He's averaging over 20 yards per reverse. Kozakowicz looking downfield just too long. The coverage was good, and that usually is what results in sacks when there's nobody to throw to, and you've got to wait that extra second. Pillars was the first through to hit him.
While he was looking for his backs coming out of the backfield, he had both Otis and Morris come out of the backfield, and the linebackers just stayed with him so well that Kozakowicz wisely held on to the football, taking at least a 10-yard loss.
Greg Buttle, the big tough outside linebacker from Penn State, calls defensive signals for the Jets. Buttle is number 51.
Strong and quick.
Very physical player. He pounds people like Dick Butkus used to for the Chicago Bears. 2nd and a long yardage. 2nd and 20. And Kozakowicz is chopped down again. The Jets come with a blitz and a 3-man down lineman and 1 linebacker. And that is more. And the Cardinal blockers can handle. John Hennessy was coming hard in a blitz. Zarkowitz has thrown the ball 16 times, 6 completions, 90 yards, 2 interceptions.
Well, that's what you say. Welcome to the league. You're behind. You got to put the ball up. Clock's against you, and everybody's coming after you.
I think right now all he has to do, go back, cock the arm, throw as long as he could, and pray.
It gets to be longer and longer, the yardage. Third down coming up now. About 30. And they call Zarkowitz for intentional grounding.
Regardless if a man is in the area, if you throw the ball to the ground trying to save yardage, is what Zark does here. He's back. They read the screen. He had nobody to throw to. Right up the middle, he's getting rushed. Glecko comes, and he throws the ball away, trying to save the loss of yardage, and he gets called for it.
Transition from truck driver to defensive end was made very smoothly by Joe
Illegal
Glecko.
forward pass, intentional grounding, quarterback, loss of down, 4th down.
It'll be difficult for Bocking to kick the ball back for a 1st down here because he's a lot of yards away. 20, 30, 40 yards for a 1st down. He may not be able to kick it that far.
Oh, run that by me once more, would you?
How is he going to be able to kick it that far? 4th and 40.
Kicks the ball downfield on the punt. It's going to roll down, comes inside the 35 and down to the 32-yard line.
Great punt by Bakken, the guy who never punted before.
That's right, but the ball did not even roll as much as a 1st down.
And so the Jets go back on offense, in command of the football game, 23-10, as we have 8 minutes left to play, and we'll be back in a moment.
How are you getting back to Manhattan? How are you getting back to Manhattan?
Cab, I guess.
Yeah, it's hard to get a cab out here.
Is it?
Oh,
you can get one. You can get one without any problem.
I have had problems.
I got to get back with a cab. Unless Mr. Wills is going back. Chuck, are you going back to Manhattan? Oh, I'm sorry.
We both need a ride.
Who's this guy? Richard?
Richard.
Fran Tarkenton's just thrown 3 yards to Ahmad Rashad for a touchdown. Minnesota Vikings 14, Green Bay Packers 7, 2nd quarter. 24 seconds left to play in the first half there. The Jets are only 3 of 12 on 3rd down conversions in this game so far, the same as the Cardinals, but the Jets have the score, and right now they have a 1st down. They're leading 23-10. Put up some backup troops in. Darnell Powell runs the ball for the Jets and runs it well out to the 38-yard line.
One edge that the Cardinals have in this game right now is in penalty yards. Jets have been penalized 45 yards and the Cardinals 70 yards, and those penalties have really hurt them.
They have been at crucial times that have hurt the Cards more than anything else in the game. The couple of times right at crucial situations.
Powell turns the corner. Coming across to make the hit on him was Ron Jankowski.
Darnell Powell.
Now in his 8th year out of Kansas State. Ball's advanced to the 40-yard line, close to a 1st down. It'll bring up 3rd and about a yard for the New York Jets. The ball just across their 40. The game clock shows 7:03 to play down at Tampa, Florida. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers extending their lead over the Chicago Bears 26-16. Doug Williams just threw to Nick, one of your old teammates, Morris
Owens. Wears number 85, 40-yard touchdown pass.
Bears on their way to their 5th straight loss if they don't pull out of that one. Kevin Long is hit, spins off, and now there are blockers in front of him. And Long gets the first down and more as the Cardinals had the play stopped. Carl Allen and Kevin Long start up.
Little fisticuffs on the sideline. Obviously, Kevin Long didn't like what happened to him as he was dragged out of bounds. But the officials quickly gained control of the ball game, which they do so effectively. But when you're playing defense and you make a play like that where you stop a guy in the backfield, you penetrate, and it looks like you have the whole play stopped, and all of a sudden you look up and there he goes running the other way for a first down. It really takes the gas out of you. Watch right here. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. Big hit. Bounces off and scrambles the other side to make the first down. Very disheartening to the Card defense.
Oh, that is. They had the play stopped. And then Long goes back the other way and gets room to run for a first down. Durking runs the ball, not for very much. On the play was Mike Dawson, number 73. Our producer here today is Chuck Will, our director Marv Muse, our spotter Bill Friel. As we have the clock winding down and the Jets moving towards one of their most successful seasons of the 1970s. They were a championship caliber team in the late 60s and early 70s, won a lot. Then this franchise came apart, and so they'll get no mercy. Will the Cardinals and the New York Jets? They'll score 50 if they can. They've been down this road.
Walt Michaels remembers the old days when they didn't win too often.
Reverse, Derek Gaffney.
Look out!
Arneson's taken off the play. Gaff gets across the 50-yard line. That whole thing resulted in a gain of about 2 yards. But East and West, when you consider all that, must have ran 70.
Boy, this is a play. Same thing the Cardinals have been doing, running the reverse with Gaffney. The same exact play they ran with Gray. But watch this. It's chasing it down. Almost threw it for a big loss. Mark Arneson does. Gets knocked off. And they come all the way back and get back almost to the line of scrimmage.
Looks like he ran out of bounds. So that's a net loss of 5 yards.
And it could have been thrown for a 15-yard loss.
And it brings up 3rd down and 12. Bruce Harper, only 180 pounds, 5 feet 7 inches tall, shoots straight ahead. He got 10. He'll be short of the first down.
The blitz is on. Now watch the trap blocking. This is what you like to do. You've got a great block by Fields, the center, and Harper just spins up the middle right behind that blocking and runs with power, running over Stone. Finally brought down, 4th down and 1 yard to go. But that's what you like to do, is split the blitzing linebackers. What the Jets did right there.
Yeah, but you had 3rd and 12 with a lead of 23-10. That's the difference. You had 3rd and 12 trailing 23-10. You run the same play and it gets stopped in the backfield.
Chuck Ramsey into punt again now for the Jets. Willard Harrell back for the St. Louis Cardinals. Ramsey unloads into the end zone. Touchback. Cardinals get the ball at their 20. 4:45 left to play. And there is a penalty marker down, Nick.
What was that one, Sonny? That penalty, I didn't see anybody move.
Could have been a man going downfield, illegal man going downfield. But I'll tell you something, Ramsey's pumped up today the way he's hitting that football. Well, he said this is the best day he's seen for punting at Shea Stadium. It's usually
the wind is so bad.
Very unbelievable wind here. He said because it turns
downfield.
An eligible man downfield.
Penalty decline. First down.
He said most of the time it's hard to figure the wind, and that's what the big problem is here, but today is a perfect day.
Right now, we have a break in the action before the Cardinals go on offense, trailing 23-10. The game clock shows 4:45 left to play.
Good stats.
8 out of 25, 77. San Diego's coming back. It's 31-14.
All right, they're on the move. The Chargers in the fourth quarter, a touchdown pass.
You're never out of it until the final gun.
Dan Fouts to John Jefferson.
Will you accept that, Marv?
67 yards.
Thank you.
You are when you give him 7.5 points.
Here come the Cardinals out of the huddle as at Pontiac, Michigan, the Detroit Lions continue to lead the favored San Diego Chargers 31-14. Every week we have upsets. Steve Jones under the ball, gets it out to about the 23-yard line. Bob Martin made the tackle for the New York Jets as Zarkowitz looks to the sideline. One of the things a young quarterback has to do, you look at the great names in quarterbacking like John Unitas, Sonny Jurgensen, Bart Starr, Tim Van Gelder. Tim's a pal of ours. It's a KMOX TV, a sportscaster in St. Louis. Very good one. Got to include him with the, don't you?
He's a heck of a guy. How many years did he play?
You better send me some for Christmas now, Van Gelder. Here's a throw down the middle, and Mel Gray has the ball. He's out to the 47-yard line. Zarkowitz right on the money.
Well, what a good catch he makes, too. Everybody back waiting for the throw, realizing Steve has to throw the football. Boy, makes a good long throw, the crossing pattern over the linebackers, but he threw the ball with a lot of authority.
You know, Mel Gray's just a real pro, because that was not an easy catch. The linebacker went up, had his hand up, and almost looked like it was deflected. He hung right with it all the way.
Zarkowitz in the flat gets the ball over to Wayne Morris, who puts a little dance move on, little disco step on John Hennessy to no avail.
That's twice they've used that play with very little success. They've played it well each time. They run a little slant with the outside receiver, run Morris in the flat. They've played it well. They've had to go to Morris both times.
That step he used over on the sidelines, Sonny, looked like you at Studio 54.
I beg your pardon.
Good place for you. A lot of sane people running around there. Second and 12. Zarkowitz leans in, and boy, that ball hopped back about 12 yards. Almost looked like the immaculate reception of
Franco Harris. That was good coverage by Bobby Jackson, the rookie out of Florida State. There's a guy who runs legitimate 4-3, but all they're doing is hanging off. They're not going to get beat deep. They're going to just sit back there. If they're going to catch anything, they're going to let it catch them in front of them. So this way here, the clock gets eaten up as they make the reception.
Zarkowitz fires, and Mel Gray is there again. Look at him rip up the middle right into the heart of the pass defense, ready to hit him, and he gets the ball down to the 25-yard line. 3 minutes left to go, and the Cardinals moving on the right arm of Pizarczyk and the receiving of Mel Gray.
And look at this again, the same type of pattern coming across, getting in between the deep backs. As Nick said, they're dropping off so deeply now that you have that little area, that intermediate zone over the linebackers, in between the deep backs, and right now that's where Mel Gray is going, and that's what Steve Pizarczyk is throwing.
Mel Gray with 4 receptions for over 100 yards for the Cardinals. Pizarczyk takes a look into the end zone, too much on it.
Well, Mel Gray's limping, Don.
He came out earlier, Nick. He was, I think he has a pole there he's fighting back from.
What he tried to do is go to the inside, and they jammed him a little bit. I didn't think you could after 5 yards, but they hit him, and he couldn't get on track again.
He was running a little hook and go pattern, kind of curling in, rolling back out to get the touchdown. He's coming out, and Jim Childs has gone in for him. He may have pulled a hamstring.
Pizark lets her rip. Over the middle, Tilly was running an in pattern. So was Jim Childs, who's in the game. And that.
Excuse me, Don. If he had the ball down then, he'd had a completion.
They both had a step. Bob Thomas has just kicked a field goal, and Tampa Bay now leads Chicago by a 26-19 count. It missed extra points in that game. Could be a factor in the end result. Giants holding to a 17-6 lead over Washington in the fourth quarter. Dallas leading Philadelphia 14-0 in the second quarter. Kansas City over Cleveland 10-3. Second quarter, Buffalo leads Cincinnati 5-0 second quarter. Pizarkowicz looks, throws, man is open. And it could be good for a first down. The tight end Al Chandler running a pattern over the middle gets a first down. 13-yard line.
Real good play here. Watch that quickly. Steve throws the football to the tight end Chandler. Sets up. Pillars coming right down his face as he has to deliver the football. Makes a real good throw. But I think we're going to have a penalty on the play.
Like they say, it goes for naught. I think they call face masking on one of the offensive linemen of the Cardinals.
Face mask, 62, offense, third down.
Keith Wortman playing tackle today. Called for a face mask violation.
You know, what do you have to do to get a break? What do you have to do to get a break? When you're behind and you haven't won a game, everything gets called against you. Every holding penalty gets called. Every clipping penalty gets called. Nothing's going right.
I think they're going to run a corner pattern to Pat Tilley right now.
Third down and 15 from the 30. They pick up the blitz. Here is a throw, and Jim Childs has it. He's got a first down at the 7-yard line. Jim Childs, a rookie from Cal Poly, and a perfectly thrown ball by Pizarkowicz. Boy, this kid has got a nice arm.
Boy, this was a good throw by Steve. He makes an excellent throw here. Good protection. You know something? Nick was right. They did run a corner pattern, but he cleared the area out for Jim Childs. He catches the ball. He does get the first down. There's still plenty of time left.
So when we come back, the Cardinals will be challenging. Take it in here. They get the ball back on a turnover. Throw a 60-yard scoring pass. That's a different ball game.
Well, yeah, you got to say that. Out here now.
Yeah.
Let's hypothecate just a second here. If they score, and Mel Gray has a miracle recovery of his hamstring, Poe comes out on the field, gets a tip deflection off Jackson for 6.
If Bullfrogs had wings, they wouldn't have to hop.
We could be into overtime if Jim Bakken misses the extra point.
Like the Mets when they were going bad, they used to be behind like 8-4 in the 9th inning. Battered come up for the Mets. They have the tying runners at their. Somebody got a football here at Shea Stadium.
I thought those were all your kids, Don.
I've only got 11. 49,000 are in the house today. Draw play, Wayne Morris. Down to the 5-yard line. A gain of only 2. Time becoming a factor now. 1:55 to play. And the Cardinals signal for and are allotted one of their 3 timeouts here in the second half. And now we'd like to thank some of our fine people who've helped us so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Our producer, Chuck Will.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Director Marvin Muse. Associate producer, the lovely Joan Vitrano.
Good paisan.
Good paisan.
Artie Tint. And on we go. Spotter Bill Friel. Stage manager Randy Hill.
Boy, he did a good job today, didn't he?
Get that dogs with sauerkraut out in front of you a little bit ago.
That's right. Sonny never would have made it without those hot dogs.
Need that sustenance.
You have mustard on your microphones.
2 timeouts remaining for each team.
Bud say, well, when I was back in Oklahoma, we used to run the option play down here on the 5-yard line. Unfortunately, they only have 1 minute and 55 seconds, and they can't afford time. Even if they score here, they're using up timeouts. If they use too many of them, the Jets will just run the clock out, so they can't afford to take the timeouts. Pisarkowitz has already used up 1.
If you're going to win the football game, you got to put it in the end zone and stop the clock with an incompletion or a touchdown.
That's right.
You throw here, Sonny, right?
Oh, I think so. If you run the ball and you don't make it, you got to use another timeout.
Jets are jamming those linebackers. They might be coming on the blitz. They're going to throw, and here comes the blitz, and he gets it away, and it's incomplete at the 5-yard line. Steve Jones, a low pass, couldn't hold on.
I don't think a play-action pass is a call here. Going to a play-action pass, everybody realizes you have to get in. Why are you faking a run and then throwing the football? Give me a better chance to go back and look and see where I want to throw it.
Here's an unlikely final. Buffalo 5, Cincinnati nothing.
5-0.
Tom Seaver get the loss.
Joe Ferguson got the win, and the Bengals, well, they're 0-8.
That's right.
Pisarkowitz guns the ball into the end zone, beating the blitz that was coming at him. Incomplete.
I'm telling you something, Chandler had a legitimate gripe then. He was in the end zone, and the contact was still being made with Chandler as he pushed his man off. If we might be able to pick it up here, but his man still had a contact with him, and the ball is outside of the 5-yard line. He was being pushed, he stopped, and that's what he's pointing at right now. He's over the 5-yard zone. The man should not be allowed to do that.
They had a safety blitz on that time also.
4th down now for the Cardinals. Pisarkowitz throws. Incomplete. The Jets take over the ball. Mike Hennigan put the rush on Steve Pisarkowitz.
Well, he's got to be a very disappointed young man, Steve, coming off here. He was under a lot of pressure, couldn't find anybody open there. I think the 2nd down call is the one that got him in trouble when he ran a little play action pass and threw it out in the flat.
Just ran a play action pass again there, Sonny. I don't understand it. 4th down and 5. The Jets certainly aren't going to be fooled by play action with only 1 minute and 30 seconds left, knowing that you have to score a touchdown. Drop back, like you say, take a look at the field and go to the man who looks like he's got a shot. Well, that's why we're up here, Sonny, and that's why they're down there.
That's the reason they ran us out of football. Yes, he's got to be happy. Walt Michaels, look at this. He's got to be pleased with the way this team is playing, losing his Richard Todd, his #1 quarterback.
He's also very happy because they have a Polish Pope.
That's right. His father and the Pope are from the same place in Poland. Same section of Krakow.
That's right.
The Jets now looking to run out the game as they're deep in their own end, but holding to a commanding 23-10 lead. It would not have been so commanding had the Cardinals been able to take it in there. Perhaps try the onside kick, although the Cardinal kicking game is in disarray right now to the injury to Steve Little. Jim Bakken has been forced to come in as the punter, and he would probably have to kick off.
Yeah, the problem with some of these road trips are when you're losing like this and you keep losing week after week, you have to get on that plane. It's a 2.5, 3-hour flight back to St. Louis from New York, and you know, how many times can you rehash your losses when you keep losing week after week? It gets to be old.
It's not only these men on the field here and the coaching staff and the organization itself, but you have to feel and have some compassion for their families, their wives.
That's right.
And their children back home. They have to live with it too. Tough situation. I've been on losing football teams. I know what it is to go through.
Very good point, Sonny. I guess only someone like yourselves who have experienced in the National Football League. But there is one thing, and it sounds like looking for blue sky. there's only one way to go, and that's to get better. I remember Miami, Nick, the one year Dolphins were 3-10-1. Everybody thought they were bums. The next year, Shula came in, they were 10-4.
That's right. It's just going to take some time, get some people back healthy. The Cardinals will win, but it's going to take a while.
Long runs the ball, and more importantly for the Jets, runs the clock. He gets it across the 10-yard line to the 11 as the game clock now winds down to 1:25 left to play, and St. Louis calls a timeout. Mark Arneson was on the tackle. I guess there's also nothing like winning. You won on those 2 Super Bowl championship teams. That must be some.
I tell you what, the first win of the Cardinals this year will seem like the Super Bowl for them.
It really does. You're right there,
It will.
Absolutely.
I tell you something, it'll be just like a Super Bowl win.
Is that right? The Giants have defeated the Washington Redskins 17-6. An upset there across the river.
Tom Bettis giving some instructions.
So the Redskins, who won their first 6, have now lost their last 2, and they're, depending on what Dallas does today, might be in a tie.
You know, you really have to look at that. I've tried to analyze it, living in Washington. I'll tell you something about that, Don. Joe Walton, who's a signal caller there, is like a pitcher going through the league for the first time. Nobody knows what his favorite pitch is, and now they're getting to, everybody has a tendency as far as calling plays, and I think possibly people have figured out what Washington wants to do.
Well, it's going to be very interesting all season long, particularly with the second wild card team from each conference. Kevin Long fighting for yards, and he gets a first down that will run out the clock for the Jets. They have 4 more downs now with 1:15 left to play.
Talking about that Giant game, Don, this is the 4th straight win for the New York Giants over the Washington Redskins
right.
after losing 9 straight.
Sparked by 039 for the Miami Dolphins, Larry Zonka.
He had a great game last week.
Now,
He did.
How do you know they sparked it?
I could tell just by the score.
Oh, by the score? Okay.
They're happy here in New York. They're happy for both clubs. They really are.
5-3.
Have to be a big winning day for the city of New York.
Yankees, Jets, Giants. Maybe the Knicks will win a game.
Now, why do we have a penalty here? Why does the laundry come out with 36 seconds left?
To delay the inevitable a bit longer, Sonny, as we have 36 seconds on the game clock.
You know, it's amazing, though, as a head coach, I don't care. It's 36 seconds. Somehow, some way, Bud Wilkinson still has to figure in his mind that something's going to happen. I don't know. The man still doesn't look any less interested now than when the game started. I mean, he's just totally involved in the ball game.
Illegal motion, 61. Offense, penalty declined, 2nd down.
He paid his team a compliment on the field before the game to me. He said, and I can't appreciate how much these men have done. They've worked hard. They've never quit. They continue to play. And I just know that things are going to turn around, and when we get everybody healthy, we're going to be a good football team.
You can see the importance the Jets attach to what the Cardinals can do as far as comeback. The cardiac cards as they've been on a recent season. They've kept Robinson in there all the way. They've got a guy that hasn't played a down behind him. Pat Ryan, a rookie out of Tennessee.
Well, they can stay in the huddle now and let it run out. They don't have to run another play, and I think that's what we're going to get. As Shea Stadium erupts here when they realize that they have a winner.
It's a big number for New York football to have the Jets and the Giants 5-3. The game winds out, and congratulations are exchanged as hard-fought game. The Cardinals and Jets say hello and goodbye as the competition is over. The final score 23-10. We'll be back at Shea Stadium in a moment. Yeah, that was a great shot, but Buttle was telling Pizarkowicz he did a good job. He had him by the arm out there.
Well,
That's up to you, Joan. You just tell us when.
What is Steve's
Whatever you need, Joan.
Circle.
As they say, this game is history. Goes down in the NFL highlights.
Yeah. Okay.
Iced tea cans. We are back at Shea Stadium in New York, where the New York Jets have just won their 5th game of the season, defeating the St. Louis Cardinals 23-10. The game was tied at the half, 10-10. The Cardinals coming out quickly in this game, looking for their first win, driving the first time they had the ball for a touchdown. And then the Jets taking command, outscoring the Cardinals in the second half 13-0, although the Cardinals challenged right down to the final possession when Bizarkowicz was firing the ball into the end zone. And we'll be back with some thoughts on today's game and what the future might hold for these two clubs with Nick Bonacani and Sonny Jurgensen in just a moment. The final score here at New York: Jets 23, the Cardinals 10.
Well, Nick, what do you think of the? I think they suck. Sonny?
Don't ask me.
I love how they spell these names. Dexter Duffy. Dexter Bussey.
Back at Shea Stadium, the final score: the Jets 23, the Cardinals 10. How about it, gents? What about this football game, and what about the future of the Jets? So they can potentially nick a playoff team.
Well, I think their running game is for real. The offensive line is solid. They got great receivers. They're young, they're enthusiastic, and they're ready to play and line up every week. I think they're a legitimate contender, Don.
And how long, Sonny, difficult question, before the Cardinals might come out on top? They have the Philadelphia Eagles coming up next week at Philadelphia.
The Cardinals still snake-bitten. I was impressed today with Steve Bizarkowicz. He hung in there. Difficult situation getting behind. 10 out of 27 today for 164 yards. The 2 interceptions did hurt, though, but he has to be pleased but not completely satisfied.
All right. Now for Nick Bonacani and Sonny Jurgensen, this is Don Criqui saying goodbye from Shea Stadium in New York, where the final score is the New York Jets 23, the St. Louis Cardinals 10. The NFL on CBS is a presentation of CBS Sports.